Chapter 814. At the edge of Yinji continent, in the depths of an endless ice mountain, there was an ancient palace. No one knew when it was built, but now was the territory of demon race Purple Sky King. Leader's temper hasn't been good recently. He even scolded the vice leader. We've been in Yinji continent for nearly 10,000 years, but I've never seen leaders so annoyed. Yes, but I heard leader's annoyance has something to do with a human genius. Really? I don't know, just hearsay. The two Fey race undying puppets were discussing quietly. They were members of the famous Purple Dome team on Yinji continent. Purple Sky Squad, one of the most famous squads in Yinji continent. Leader Purple Sky King was a titled Emperor Undying of the demon race and had the ability to teleport. The vice leader was also a low-level titled Emperor. As for the members, they were all peak titled Emperor. The weakest was a high-level titled Emperor. Such a squad was very famous in Yinji continent. Of course, while they were famous, they were not invincible, and in the depths of this palace, her entire body was black. She had the body of a human and the head of an extremely beautiful silver fox. She wore a gorgeous black robe, and her puppet body was almost no different from a real person. Her expression, eyes, and other aspects were all very perfect. Bastard. Bloss, this bastard. He dares to provoke me. The fox-head woman was very angry. Luckily, the higher-ups are smart. How can you blame me? It's been a whole year, ever since I accepted this mission. None of the Demon Race Alliance members on Yinji continent have found the human sector master. How can I kill him? How? Bloss, you dare to say I'm useless. Is this my fault? This idiot, he's definitely interested in the military merit. Killing a human sector master is equivalent to killing a high-level titled emperor. No wonder he's greedy. Pity, you can't get it, you idiot. Purple Sky King cursed. Actually, she was very frustrated too. Although she was a powerful titled regis with the ability to teleport, titled marquises and titled regis all had immortal bodies. With her ability, she could at most kill a titled marquis at the pinnacle. As for titled regis at the early stage, there was probably not a single titled regis in the entire Yinji continent that could kill one. Early stage regis godfiends were already ridiculously difficult to kill. Conferred kings were of a higher level, so the difficulty was naturally higher. So, killing a human kingdom lord actually gave military merit equivalent to killing a regis high-class immortal. This was naturally a cushy job that would make people envious. The military merits that she, the Purple Sky King, had earned in the Yinji continent in the past 10,000 years were not even 1/10 of this amount. So, when she got the mission, she was especially excited. Although there were only 2 demon kings on the Yinji continent, there were only 2 demon kings. However, there were a total of 329 demon kings in the entire Demon Alliance. After all, there were many other vassal races under the Demon Alliance. Although some were not vassal races, they were from remote areas that were willing to enter the foreign battleground as part of the Demon Alliance. A large number of foreign races led to the Demon Alliance having 329 titled regis on the Yinji continent. This mission was very tempting. However, the Demon Alliance naturally gave the good missions to their own race. Purple Sky King had the ability to teleport, so she got this mission. Back then, she received this mission, which made many Demon Alliance members jealous. However, jealousy was useless. This was an order from the higher-ups. Purple Sky King was very happy. She was waiting to kill a human kingdom lord. All Demon Alliance members on the Yinji continent received an order to immediately report the moment they discovered a lone human kingdom lord or a titled marquis. Once she got the accurate coordinates, Purple Sky King could teleport there directly. With her teleportation ability, 1 to 2 light years was very easy. In other words, the entire Yinji continent was within Purple Sky King's teleportation range. She could instantly reach any place on the Yinji continent. As long as she received the information, she could immediately kill the human kingdom lord and obtain huge amounts of military merits. What a simple mission. Trash. The information system is really lousy. It's been a year, and there's still not a single report. They actually haven't discovered that human kingdom lord at all. Purple Sky, King raged within. Being able to see but not be able to taste was indeed unbearable. The upper echelon of the race had given her hope of earning huge amounts of military merits. However, there was still no information at all. Human Kingdom Lord, I don't believe you won't show yourself. Our Demon Alliance takes up a quarter of the Yinji continent. I don't believe none of us will bump into you. The moment you show your strength, you're dead. You're dead. Purple Sky, King gritted her teeth. Waiting without an accurate prediction was indeed unbearable. At this time, Luo Feng didn't even know that he had become the main target of the Demon Alliance. Die. A glaring silver rainbow swept through the skies above the ocean. A huge ravine was torn open in space. It was like a silver river had filled the skies. That short half-a-meter-tall foreign race, Undying, was sliced apart. That foreign race, Undying, was initially relaxed. However, the moment it was sliced back into one, it was shocked, because it realized that it had lost 18% of its undying body. How can this be? How can this be? The foreign race official Undying was extremely shocked. Hua! Hua! The silver rainbow flashed a few times. That foreign race, Undying, didn't even have time to escape. It just self-destructed, and the battle was over. Ooh! Amidst the ripples of the battle, Luo Feng floated in mid-air. Behind him was a pair of black wings that undulated. The undying body is really hard to kill. This is my first time coming to the main continent. My Earth body managed to injure the Wei erase Undying. That was really luck. Those two Wei clan Undyings probably just finished training their undying bodies and were still very weak. However, right now, these slightly stronger beginner official level Undyings, I can't even use my blade techniques to damage their undying bodies. Luo Feng shook his head. I've used my blade techniques a few times, and it's useless. I still have to rely on Wu Yu Yi. This Wu Slayer wing is indeed powerful. Although my earthling body is weaker and the amount of spatial energy I can use is pitifully small, it can kill a low-level marquis in just a few tries. Let's go. Luo Feng packed up his spoils of war. He then sat in the universe ship and leisurely left the battlefield. Within the universe ship, Luo Feng sat within the ship's control room. Same as before, the first detector's shielding function was turned off, second detector was open normally. The Wu Yu wings are really good. With it, my Earth body can kill an official level Undying before, but now I can kill an official level Undying. And the Golden Horned Beast, it can even kill an official level Pinnacle. And the Wu Yu wings can make it so that the enemy can't accurately sense my strength. Luo Feng laughed happily. Back when he first came to the main continent of Yinji continent, he realized a problem after his battle with the Golden Fear and the Wei erase Undying. There are too many strong warriors in the main continent of Yinji continent. It's not like Fog Sand Island, where an official level Undying can reign supreme. There's only a total of 10 official levels. In Yinji continent, I heard that there are over 1,000 emperors. This was the truth. Even though there were only 3 human emperors and Undying on Yinji continent. However, the vassal races of humanity and the large amounts of other races that entered the battlefield through the human alliance added up to a few hundred emperors. After all, there were tens of thousands of races. On average, there would be 1 emperor out of every 10 races on Yinji continent. This meant that there were a lot of emperors. Yinji continent added up on all 4 sides, there were over 1,000 of them. Of course, compared to the large amounts of undying generals and official levels on Yinji continent, the number of emperors was incomparably small. There are many strong warriors on Yinji continent. It's fine for me to fight small battles on Fog Sand Island. However, on Yinji continent, I'll have to fight against an official level Pinnacle. Who knows, I might even meet an emperor level beginner. That's very likely to provoke the other races to kill me. My teacher warned me about this before. What should I do? Luo Feng pondered. Very quickly, he thought of an idea. Wu Yu wings. The Wu Yu wings were a treasure. On the Golden Horned Beast, it could hide the Golden Horned Beast's aura. Instead, the natural pressure it emitted would make the enemy think that the golden horned beast was a strong warrior. One theory: the slaying Wu wings were on the body of the earthling, so they naturally concealed the aura of the earthling. I'm so smart. When the earth body fuses with the Wu Yu wings and emits pressure, I'll disguise it as an official level pinnacle's pressure. When the golden horned beast fuses with the Wu Yu wings, the pressure it emits will be stronger. This way, a human official level pinnacle will naturally be very normal. Luo Feng was very happy at the time, after which Luo Feng followed his plan. When roaming the Yanji continent, the golden horned beast and the earth body could not appear at the same time. This time, if the earth body fought, the golden horned beast would definitely not appear, unless there was some special danger. This type of battle was specially used to train his blade technique and study the bright moon strategy. There was another type of battle where the earth body didn't appear. At the start, the golden horned beast would fuse with the Wu Yu wings. This type of battle was mainly used to kill and accumulate military merits. After all, using the golden horned beast to earn military merits was indeed very efficient. Two types of battles: one to train his blade technique, the other to accumulate military merits. Luo Feng had a great time on the Yanji continent. A year after the Wei Yi clan Undying battle, he fought 6 battles and met about 10 other Undyings. 3 of them were fought by the Earth Body and 3 by the Golden Horned Beast. He killed a total of 5 official level and 3 Undyings. His efficiency was indeed very high. A beginner official level can't train my blade technique at all. I have to find a strong warrior, a high official level, and have a good fight. Luo Feng was very excited. Battling with the different races in the universe, the different battle methods indeed made him feel a sense of excitement. P.S. Chapter 2 has ended. Tomato continues writing Chapter 3. Chapter 8:15. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, Luo Feng had been on the main continent for 3 years. These 3 years were extremely fulfilling for Luo Feng. He had always been spending his time in battle and training, his strength constantly improving. Most of his time was spent reflecting on his battles, comprehending the laws and beast god concepts, studying techniques, etc. In these 3 years, he had fought a total of 15 battles, killing 22 officials and 19 undying generals of the other races, of which 18 official lords and 13 undying generals were killed by the Golden Horned Beast. The Earth Body only killed 4 official lords and 9 generals, and he killed them all by killing Wu Yu. This made Luo Feng feel he was still very weak. Even though his comprehension speed was extremely fast, he had only trained for a few thousand years. Even though the virtual universe company's primal region sector lords weren't as efficient as him, they had trained for tens of thousands or even millions of years. Their comprehension wasn't far from his. They were all official level, and the top 20 to 30 were even close to the Emperor level. Even the few at the top had already reached the 18th level of the Heavenly Bridge. However, the gap between them and Kadi was still very, very large. This was because the higher one's comprehension of the laws, the more difficult it was to ascend to the heavens. For example, True Yin and the others were stuck at the 20th level, unable to reach the 21st level for billions of years. From this, one could see how difficult it was to advance further. Going from the 18th level to the 19th level was almost as difficult as going from the 1st to the 18th level. The difficulty rose exponentially. Hence, even though the 18th and 20th levels seemed very close, almost every primal region sector lord had reached the 18th level. However, reaching the 20th level, probably only one appeared in 10 million eras. These 3 years, Luo Feng had made a name for himself. The Golden Horned Beast clone could even kill a peak noble. Although it had only killed 2 of the 18 nobles, it had still made the Golden Horned Beast famous. After all, many high-level nobles had died under the Golden Horned Beast's wings. This was something that only high-level emperors could do. The strong in the Yanji continent were as many as the clouds. There were countless other races, yet there were only 1,000 emperors. Every emperor had a title. The golden horned beast would always appear as a silver monster. Its wing attacks were terrifying. Naturally, it was nicknamed Silver Wing Emperor. As for Luo Feng's earth body, it was considered normal on the Yin-Ji continent. Naturally, it wasn't eye-catching. Luo Feng's fourth year in Yin-Ji continent, automaton virtual world headquarters. Svika. On the street, a tall youth from the machine race suddenly shouted, "Senior brother." The handsome youth from the machinery race, whose entire body was silver with some gold on his waist, arms, and other areas, looked like an alloy man at first glance. He lowered his head slightly to show his respect. "Svika, how was your harvest in the extraterritorial battlefield?" The tall machine race youth asked with a smile. "I've already completed 51.2% of Master's requirements. I'm now in the 7th battlefield, the Flaming Sacrifice Continent. There are many alien race experts on the Flaming Sacrifice Continent. My efficiency should increase. I'll probably complete the mission after killing another 1,000 alien marquises." The handsome youth from the machine race revealed a smile. The machine race was very different from the other races. This was because every member of the machine race was born as an intelligent life form. As an intelligent life form, it was born to recognize its master. Within the automaton race, a Universe Knight level automaton race member would be recognized by some automaton undying as their master. Like the primal Chaos City Master who was as strong as the overlord of the automaton race, he could also make the Universe Paragon automaton race recognize him as his master. These recognition had already been done long ago. Unless one day the servant's strength surpassed the master, then the upper echelons of the automaton race would order the master to remove the master-servant relationship. Otherwise, the master-servant relationship would remain forever. The entire automaton race was like a pyramid. A Universe Lord controlled large amounts of Universe Knights, and the Universe Knights controlled even more automaton undying. They had emotions. They would also have hatred, jealousy, anger, excitement, happiness, and many other emotions. However, recognizing a master was a core ability of an AI life form. Once it recognized a master, then it would absolutely obey the master. It wouldn't have any thoughts of betrayal. Maybe it would be jealous of others in the same race, but it would be absolutely loyal to the master. The structure of a pyramid. This was the automaton race, a race with absolute strict hierarchy and no betrayal. It was also an extremely terrifying race. Completed 51.2%. Svika, you're really outstanding. No wonder Master loves you so much. The tall machine race youth smiled. Master's kindness. I will use all my life force to repay Master. The handsome machine race youth was still very humble, maintaining a certain level of respect. Very good. Continue to work hard. Quickly become an emperor. The tall machine race youth ordered. Yes, senior brother. I will definitely work hard and learn from you. The handsome machine race youth lowered his head. The tall machine race youth replied and didn't care about this Svika anymore. However, he was still unhappy. Isn't he just an AI that evolved from the shipmaster road when he was weak? He went through life and death situations with Master, and now he's just an official stage pinnacle. He's even more loved by Master than us emperors. If Master didn't give you so much help, how could you kill so many emperors? Easy for you to say. Probably kill 1,000 more and you'll complete the mission. I really hope you fall in the outer region battlefield. The handsome machine race youth glanced at the leaving senior brother. His eyes flashed with a cold light. Master's servants, especially those who are conferred kings, all rely on the fact that they're stronger than me to casually give me pointers. What a bunch of idiots. When Master and I went through life and death situations, who knows where you guys were? So what if you're jealous of the relationship we had when we were weak? If it wasn't for the rules of the race, I wouldn't even care about you. Svika was filled with disdain. He really looked down on those emperors. Master treated him like a brother. Why would he care about these emperors? See Master, report to Master. These guys, even if they want to see Master, they have to wait for a chance. How can they see Master as often as I do? Svika rubbed his nose, slightly raised his head, and walked towards Master. The automaton race's virtual world could cover an entire star region. So, the hundreds of star regions in the automaton territory each had a virtual world. Although they were scattered in different star zones, every star zone could communicate with the headquarters, and the headquarters would carry out the overall dispatch. Of course, it was just that it was very cumbersome, and ordinary members of the mechanical race did not have the qualifications to enter the headquarters. Svika, he went through the automaton race's virtual world in the outer region battlefield. After a long transmission, his consciousness finally entered the main camp. Only then could he communicate with his master. Automaton race's virtual world main camp was also called Blue Jade World. A pyramid ship was flying in the sky above Yinji continent. Svika, the young man from the machine clan, who was wearing a dark green armor, opened his eyes and smiled. Master treats me so well. I only need to complete 80% of Master's requirements, and Master actually gave me another treasure. If those jealous senior brothers knew about this, they would probably be even more resentful. But so what? A bunch of idiots. While in terms of physical strength, I can't compare to them. But in a life and death battle, our automaton race uses all sorts of methods. With the treasures and trump cards Master gave me, even a titled Undying can't do anything to me. If I'm forced into a corner, even a titled Peak can heavily injure me. Svika was very confident, because he had killed many alien race Undyings and many titled ones too. He had gone through so much killing to build his confidence. This is a human sector lord probe, projected, Svika ordered. Immediately, Svika, who was sitting on the alloy chair, saw the three-dimensional projection in front of him. In the projection, the human sector lord in black armor was sitting cross-legged. Human sector lord? Yinji continent actually has a human sector lord? Svika rubbed his alloy nose and frowned. His probe is really high-end. Even in our automaton race, only titled official pinnacle would be equipped with it. If it were any other alien race, usually titled Undyings would be equipped with it. A weak human sector lord actually has such a high-end probe. Luckily, my probe was gifted to me by Master. It's even higher end than the automaton Emperor's probe. Svika slapped the alloy chair and stood up. This punk is still training. He didn't even notice me for a sector lord to have such a high-end probe. His background must be huge. Who knows? He might have a human treasure on him, and he might very well be a human super genius. Even if he isn't, he still has a terrifying background. However, the bigger the background, the better. The bigger the background, the more shocking the wealth on him. The more genius he is, the more points he'll get. Svika's eyes gleamed. Alien race warriors wouldn't care about a human genius background. Get closer. I want to kill this human sector lord, Svika ordered. This cheap pyramid ship immediately headed towards Luo Feng's training area. As the saying goes, if you always walk by the river, how can you not wet your shoes? Luo Feng relied on the probe to fight whoever he wanted these past 3 years. If he didn't want to fight, he would block the enemy's probe. However, when the enemy's probe was more advanced than Luo Feng's, then the initiative was in the enemy's hands. At this time, Luo Feng didn't even know that danger was approaching. He split a part of his consciousness to connect to the virtual universe. Virtual universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay, Luo Feng's mansion, a private studio. Luo Feng and Su Xin sat in the studio and watched. Just the two of them. It's much better than the movies of our Earth, Su Xin said softly. Luo Feng held his wife's hand and smiled. There are so many talented people in the universe who work hard to make movies. Whether it's the story or the various virtual techniques, they're all very interesting. Naturally, it's exciting and shocking. The husband and wife chatted softly as they watched. This was Luo Feng and his wife's most common way of communicating. Luo Feng's expression suddenly changed. What's wrong? Su Xin was shocked. Wife, I'm sorry. Luo Feng smiled apologetically. He immediately vanished and his consciousness returned. In reality, he had already met with a terrifying danger. Su Xin suddenly stood up. She was a little nervous. She knew Luo Feng was roaming outside the battlefields. She couldn't help but be extremely worried. P.S. 3 chapters completed. Chapter 816. Yanji Continent. Within the ancient underground palace. On the walls of the palace, there were still some ancient sacrificial diagrams. These diagrams had some law ripples on them, able to last for trillions of years without being destroyed. Luo Feng was shocked when he saw these diagrams for the first time. He didn't know what sort of life forms lived on Yanji Continent countless years ago. Luo Feng himself sat crossed-legged in one of the side palaces. Suddenly, rumble, rumble, rumble. At the same time, the 9 beams of light pierced through the thick rock stratum and bombarded the underground palace. The ancient palace was instantly shattered under the barbaric and powerful attack. Even the universe space was shattered under such an attack, and a large amount of rubble was swept away by the space turbulence. When the underground palace was hit by the 9 beams of light, Luo Feng was shocked. Not good. Luo Feng's black armor swiftly extended, protecting his entire body, at the same time swiftly raising a beast god weapon shield. A thick glaring beam of light pierced through the underground palace and hit Luo Feng. After piercing through the thick rock formation, the beam's attack power was reduced by more than half. When it hit Luo Feng, it was naturally blocked by the beast god shield, allowing Luo Feng to dodge the attack. Everything turned dark, and the underground palace collapsed. Luo Feng too flew backwards. Where did they come from? Luo Feng immediately adjusted his body and flew into the sky within the shattered universe space. Hualala, following the hole, he immediately flew out of the surface. Luo Feng looked up and was stunned. In all directions, there were a total of 9 pyramidal ships floating. From their positions and the 9 holes, the 9 beams of light from before must have pierced through these 9 ships. Automaton ships? Luo Feng frowned as he looked. It's actually the automaton race. Babata, can the scanning device detect the 9 automaton ships in the distance? Luo Feng, the scanning device can't detect any targets. It should be completely blocked. The enemy has a more advanced scanning device than us. Babata communicated mentally. Their scanning device is even more advanced than ours. Luo Feng, you must be careful. The enemy's strength could very well be emperor level. Luo Feng was very calm. Those 9 pyramids, especially the energy barriers on the surface, from Luo Feng's point of view, every single one of them was much more expensive than his Yun Mo planet ship. Where did they come from? Luo Feng was shocked within, randomly sending out 9 ships, and all of them are better than my Yun Mo planet ship? From what I can sense, the energy barrier defense is extremely strong. Maybe only the Golden Horn Beast clone will be able to harm those 9 pyramidal ships. An expert, a true automaton warrior. This was not something that the automaton Undying who coveted Hu Yin Bo's treasures back then could compare to. That automaton Undying back then was only an Undying general level and didn't have any powerful fighters. His ship was only a peak E-grade pyramid ship. How could he compare to this warrior who casually tossed out 9 expensive pyramid ships? Bastard, I can't even find a trace of the enemy. Luo Feng was anxious. For the first time, Luo Feng tasted the pain of having a scanning device lower than the enemy. In the past, it was always Luo Feng toying with the foreign warriors, fighting whenever he wanted, fleeing whenever he wanted. Now, the initiative was completely in the hands of the enemy. Whoosh! In midair, Luo Feng only paused for 0.01 seconds, after which he immediately became a beam of light and swiftly fled. Little punk, you still want to flee? He, toying with a human sector lord that dares to come to Yanji Continent. That's really interesting. In mid-air millions of km away from Luo Feng, Suiko was in the ship's control room watching this scene with interest. The moment Luo Feng chose to flee, he ordered, attack. The 9 pyramidal ships that had been silent all this while rumbled, the bottom immediately split open, revealing a few 100-meter wide cabin door. Hua hua hua. Like countless locusts flying out, black mechanical puppets flew out of the cabin doors at lightning speed. The 9 pyramid-shaped spaceships shot out a large number of black mechanical puppets at the same time. Logically speaking, the 9 pyramid-shaped spaceships were only 1,800 meters tall, and there were many cabins inside, so it was impossible to store too many mechanical puppets. However, at this moment, mechanical puppets flew out in a frenzy, and in the blink of an eye, over 1 million black mechanical puppets flew out of each pyramid-shaped spaceship. 9 million. Looking at the 9 directions, the countless black automatons that covered the sky and land, Luo Feng was stunned. These automatons were all 10 tall, completely black, with huge axes, blades, or huge swords on their backs. Just where did they come from? This is too extravagant. 9 million F9 grade automatons. Every single one of them is completely made from the F9 grade metal Black Swan Mother. Even if they cut down on the cost, one F9 grade automaton is at least a metal block of this size. Such a large metal block is worth at least 10 mixed elements. 9 million, that's 90 million mixed elements. Spending such a huge amount of wealth to buy these huge amounts of automatons, this is too wasteful, too extravagant. Just where do they come from? As the saying goes, good steel has to be used on the blade. If 90 million mixed elements were used to buy some precious items, the battle effect would be much better. 9 million? Truly precise control. Normally 1 million would be the limit. Any more would definitely be a waste. Wong, the 9 big groups. Each group had 1 million F9 grade automatons. At this time, the closest group of 1 million automatons simultaneously gathered energy in their chests. Rumble. 1 million beams of light shot towards Luo Feng, forming a huge beam of light with a diameter of 100 m. So, Luo Feng wielded the beast god weapon and swiftly dodged, forcefully dodging. Wong, 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 Wong. The 9 big groups took turns accumulating energy, taking turns to attack. As the distance closed from the 3rd round of attacks, even if Luo Feng's dodging skills were good, he wouldn't be able to dodge anymore. He could only rely on the beast god weapon shield and the armor on his body to defend against the terrifying attacks that made one's heart palpitate. Luo Feng angrily unleashed his technique, desperately flying towards one of the groups of automatons. However, those automatons all retreated and flew. The other 8 groups continued to force Luo Feng. Anyway, no matter how Luo Feng tried to escape, the 9 big groups always maintained a suitable distance from Luo Feng. Wherever Luo Feng went, that group of automatons would retreat, the other groups would advance. Just like that, Luo Feng was trapped within the encirclement. Bastard. That's too cunning. Luo Feng was furious. At this distance, the 9 big groups of automatons could completely hit Luo Feng every time. HM? He actually blocked 20 waves of my group energy attack. Every wave is comparable to an official Pinnacle's full-powered attack. Suika, who was controlling the battle from afar, blinked in shock. This human sector lord is really not normal. The shield in his hand withstood the attack without any damage. It seems like he's also shaken off a lot of the impact. Begin the 3 groups' combined attack. Suika casually ordered. At the start, the 9 big groups surrounded Luo Feng, attacking in waves. Luo Feng was unable to escape from this encirclement. He was extremely frustrated. After Luo Feng blocked 20 attacks, the 9 big groups began the 3 groups combined attack mode. The power of the attack was too great. Actually, this should be the limit of the 9 big groups. After all, the 9 big groups were in different positions. The most they could guarantee was that all 3 groups' attacks would hit Luo Feng at the same time. However, Luo Feng blocked it again. Activate the energy. Flame mode, trapping. In the distance, Suika ordered again. Even a true official Pinnacle would be trapped, much less a punk like you. To be able to make me use up so much energy, you should be proud. The originally dumb, countless automatons' bodies immediately lit up with a glaring red light. That powerful aura caused Luo Feng, who was surrounded by 9 million automaton puppets, to change his expression. What a powerful energy. These automaton puppets aren't cheap metal lumps. Their energy cores are very high in too. One automaton puppet is worth at least a few hundred mixed elements. Adding them all together, this is at least a few billion mixed elements. Luo Feng was stunned. Before, when he passed the domain Lord level Primal Sky Mountain and received 3 billion points, Luo Feng thought that was already very powerful. However, this scene before him, 9 million F9 level automatons, every one of them was a very high level automatons. They weren't stupid metal pieces. Just like back then when Luo Feng, Taiwa, and Poison were ambushed by the automatons when they first entered the battlefield, the automatons at time used the core automatons. Even the core automatons had to rely on the Thunderhell to have that kind of power. Compared to these 9 million automatons, those core automatons were obviously a little low level. Just like that, they spent a few billion mixed elements. Luo Feng was shocked. At the same time, he understood. Since they've spent so much wealth, these 9 big groups of automatons definitely aren't just using the simple energy collective attack mode before. 1. The 900 automatons' bodies all ignited with flames. Hua. They all uniformly pulled out the weapons on their backs, be it battle axes, blades, or huge swords. Suddenly, one of the 9 big groups, all the automatons fiercely waved the weapons in their hands, pointing at Luo Feng. D. The fire energy passed through the huge swords and swiftly transformed into a red beam of light, shooting straight at Luo Feng. A million red beams of light gathered from all directions, actually forming a web-like shape, wrapping around Luo Feng. Terrifying. Luo Feng's heart palpitated. He could clearly feel the terrifying power of this boundless red light net. He couldn't fight it head-on. The moment he tried, he would definitely be trapped, unable to even escape. Luo Feng had such a feeling. Rumble. Luo Feng vanished into thin air. Howl. A huge silver-feathered beast appeared in mid-air. An incredibly terrifying pressure immediately emanated. This scene made Suika, who was far away controlling the battle, change his expression. Silverwing Emperor? This human sector lord is a puppet controlled by Silverwing Emperor? Or is this Silverwing Emperor his bodyguard? P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. Chapter 817. In these 3 years, the Golden Horned Beast had earned the title of Silverwing Emperor and was considered a being with some status in Yenji continent. The automaton youth Suika frowned. To be able to withstand the mechanical army's group attack, a sector lord is definitely a super genius. He wouldn't become someone else's puppet. This Silverwing Emperor is more likely to be his bodyguard. To be able to make him his bodyguard, that sector lord's background is shocking. He definitely has many treasures. Indeed, his teacher gave Luo Feng the Beast God weapon, killing Wu Wings. Even the cheaper ones were the standard weapons of the Universe Knights. Their prices were still ridiculously high. Killing Wu Wings, needless to say, the trillions of races in the universe, the only one who truly knew the wonders of killing Wu Wings, other than Luo Feng, was the primal Chaos City leader. Such a treasure, the moment its power was revealed, it would be enough to cause countless knights to fight over it. Even if a knight were to go bankrupt, he wouldn't be able to afford it. Of course, this Suika didn't know the treasures on Luo Feng. He only guessed that with Luo Feng's background, he should have some treasures, and just an absolute genius like Luo Feng was already worth a huge amount of military merits. Military merits, the treasures on him. Suika gritted his teeth. I'll go all out. Even if the price is higher, it's worth it. Luo Feng was also forced into a corner. Facing the attacks of 9 million F9 level automatons in their special mode, at least his Earth body couldn't handle it. And his other trump card, the Zerg army, was coincidentally countered. Even though the Zerg army's attacks were strong, those automatons were all F9 level metal bodies. Their biggest advantage was their ridiculously strong defense. The Zerg army's one attack, maybe it would cause 1 million automatons of a faction to be in complete chaos. Maybe it could cause problems in the energy cores of over 10,000 automatons, but the F9 grade metal on their bodies meant their losses would be minimal. On the contrary, the moment the Zerg army was attacked by the F9 grade automatons of the other 8 factions, under that terrifying attack, The Zerg soldiers were only Sector Lord Pinnacle level. Their body defense couldn't even compare to the most normal Undying. Naturally, it couldn't compare to the F9 grade metal defense. The result would be tragic. The casualties would be heavy. The Zerg army's advantage is their strong attacks. A million Sector Lord Zerg Emperor can heavily injure an Emperor Pinnacle. Against an ordinary mechanical army, it also has an advantage. One attack is enough to destroy the energy core of a mechanical puppet. But these F9 level mechanical puppets, the surface metal and internal energy cores, are all very high-end. All of them are expensive to build. Each of them is even more expensive than the Sector Lord Zerg King, and their stability is extremely high. It was impossible to destroy its core through bombardment. Luo Feng was very clear on this point. Different methods had their advantages and disadvantages. Against the encirclement of the 9 factions, Luo Feng only had one choice: to let the Golden Horned Beast act. He was forced into a corner. He had no other choice. I've been in the extraterritorial battlefield for more than 1,000 years, but I've never felt so sullen before. Mechanical race trash. Just wait to cry. Luo Feng's rage shot through the sky. The moment the Golden Horned Beast appeared in the air above the vast land, it flapped its wings and suddenly dodged the countless red threads that wrapped around it. The Golden Horned Beast had the help of the Wu-slaying wings, adding on its own strength. How ridiculously fast would its speed be when it executed 3 universe traversing? Wu! The Golden Horned Beast let out an angry roar. With a flap of its silver wings, it charged towards the 1 million F9 automatons of the 1st Battalion. This caused the 1 million F9 automatons of the 1st Battalion to immediately flee, while the other 8 battalions pressed forward, maintaining their distance from the Golden Horned Beast, still in a state of encirclement. Chi! 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 In mid-air, it only left behind 3 curved lines. The Golden Horned Beast's speed had already soared to sublight speed. At the same time, it continued to accelerate, constantly nearing the limit of light speed. And the 1 million F9 level automaton speed was much slower. They couldn't even compare to Luo Feng's Earth body speed. They could only rely on the distance buffer to reach sublight speed before his Earth body could catch up, making it impossible for him to catch up. However, right now, it was the Golden Horned Beast. 3 strides universe traversal was a wing traversal technique. The Wu-slaying wings were treasures for escaping and dodging. Even an Emperor Pinnacle, without the ability to teleport, couldn't compare to the Golden Horned Beast in terms of speed. Voila! The 1 million F9 level automatons had only increased their speed by half, far from reaching sublight speed, when the shockingly fast Golden Horned Beast caught up, only to see that pair of wings spread out, the wings that spanned a few hundred km, almost covering the entire sky in an instant. Woo! The Golden Horned Beast let out a roar. The wings were like blades. In an instant, it crashed into the 1 million automatons that were fleeing. The Golden Horned Beast's wings were huge, spanning a few hundred km. Each automaton was only 10 m tall. Even with 1 million automatons gathered, even though the distance between them was rather far, it was only a few thousand km. Rumble! The Golden Horned Beast crashed into the formation. Countless F9 automatons waved their blades, great swords and battle axes, slashing at the incoming Golden Horned Beasts. However, the weapons in their hands were knocked out of their hands. Each and every one of them were sent flying like toys. The strangest thing was, when the slaying Wu wings slammed into them, a large number of automatons seemed to lose their mobility, falling down from the skies. How can this be? These are top-quality F-grade automatons. Their energy cores are extremely stable. How can they lose their mobility in one hit? One collision and tens of thousands of mechanical marionettes lost their power? Svika, in the spaceship in the distant midair, looked at this scene in disbelief. The Golden Horned Beast let out a sky-shaking roar, its wings flapping. Originally, he thought that one hit would be able to destroy over 100 automatons. However, under the actual hit, Luo Feng was pleasantly surprised to find, as long as the automatons were hit by the Wu-slaying wings, even though the F9 grade metal bodies were still fine, their internal cores would be completely destroyed. The reason was because of the mysterious Wu slaying wing space energy. That special space energy was released through the Wu slaying wings, just a little bit. That was just a tiny bit. As long as it touched the F9 level automatons, they were all done for. Regret it. Trying to mess with me, you'll regret it. The golden horned beast let out a happy roar, continuing to flap the Wu-slaying wings, charging again and again into the million automatons camp. Large amounts of automatons fell from the sky, all of them losing their mobility. While charging, the golden horned beast was also constantly collecting those automatons that had lost their mobility and couldn't resist into its world ring. Even though they were damaged, maybe they could still be fine. Something that was worth a few hundred mixed elements, if it was damaged, it would probably be worth a few tens of mixed elements. In the blink of an eye, the golden horned beast collected hundreds of thousands of F9 level automatons in one breath, while the rest of the automatons madly fled in all directions. Even the 8 million F9 level automatons that were originally chasing from the 8 big factions swiftly fled towards the 9 pyramidal ships in the distance. Howl! The golden horned beast's wings flapped, leaving behind 3 curved lines in midair, directly chasing towards the other faction. However, this time, it only managed to collect a few tens of thousands of automatons as spoils of war before the automatons all fled. To collect automatons and even life forms into the world ring, the prerequisite was that there wasn't any resistance. The moment there was resistance, the collection would fail. This was also the reason why the golden horned beast could only collect those automatons with damaged energy cores. Of course, there were still some forceful methods like the natural ability swallow. Completely forcefully swallow. However, this was also very dangerous. Those that had the strength to resist, the moment they resisted too much like the golden horned beast's internal world, it could very well cause the internal world to collapse. Yeah, far away in midair, within the ship's control room, the automaton youth Suika clenched his teeth and laughed coldly, daring to take away so many of my automatons. Silver Wing Emperor, indeed an emperor undying, very strong. However, my Suika wealth isn't that easy to swallow. I'll make you spit it all out. 9 Extreme God Country. Activate! Suika clenched his teeth and ordered. His true trump card. His master, back then he went through life and death with him. That absolute warrior from the automaton race that treated him like a true brother, specially made a set of terrifying automaton weapons for him. The stronger the weapon, the higher the requirements to control it. Even the first form of the Wu slaying wings required Luo Feng to train to the first level of the 7 changes of the god. Not only did Suika have the ability to control it, it also had to be powerful. His master had indeed spent a lot of effort to personally create this 9 absolutes divine kingdom. In midair, just where is the enemy hiding? The golden horned beast's dark golden eyes scanned its surroundings. Those countless F9 grade automatons had long rushed into the 9 pyramidal ships in the entire sky. There were only 9 pyramids floating in 9 directions. The golden horned beast couldn't find the automaton undying body. Who? The wings shook. The golden horned beast immediately rushed towards one of the 9 pyramids floating. This is the first time I felt so frustrated in the foreign battlefields. I can't even find the enemy. However, I won't let you have it easy. The golden horned beast flew towards that pyramid. The 9 pyramids simultaneously let out a glaring purple light. The base also split open. Who? A dense purple light flew out from the base. It seemed to be some special weapons. However, before the golden horned beast could get a clear look, the purple light on the surface of the 9 pyramids suddenly expanded, fiercely shooting out countless purple lights in another direction, completely connecting with each other at light speed. As the countless purple lights connected with each other, there were even some that wrapped around the golden horned beast. Howl, howl. The golden horned beast's wings were like blades, madly struggling, cutting large amounts of the purple lights. However, even more purple lights wrapped over. In just a short while, the 9 pyramids were completely connected. Rumble. The land and skies changed. Everything originally disappeared, only leaving behind a vast purple space. the golden horned beast had already sunk into the 9 extreme god country. P.S. Chapter 2 has ended. There's still Chapter 3. Chapter 8:18. The moment the golden horned beast entered the 9 extreme country. Virtual universe Black Dragon Mountain 9-star Bay. Su Xan was silently praying for Luo Feng. In over 1,000 years in the foreign battlefield, Luo Feng has never left in such a rush. Heavens, please protect Luo Feng. Every time Luo Feng was in danger, his family was always the most worried. This was also the reason why Luo Feng didn't want to tell his family about it. At the same time, in the dark universe, a completely black sword-shaped universe ship was swiftly flying. Your Majesty, we still need a day to reach the transfer point. Your Majesty, our first trip to the foreign battlefield is to go straight to the Sacrifice Yin continent. The strong there are as many as the clouds. Your Majesty has just been named Emperor and is only a beginner Emperor. The pinnacle of the Sacrifice Yin continent are all. With a cold snort, the 2 servants shut their mouths. This was a tall young man dressed in black armor. His face looked like it was carved from stone, and he had no hair. The most eye-catching thing about him was his pair of eyes. They were like a pair of rubies, emitting a faint and mysterious light. He stood there, emitting a ghostly and dark aura. It's a rare opportunity for me to enter the craziest extraterritorial battlefield in the entire primeval universe, while my race is on good terms with the monster race. Since I've entered the extraterritorial battlefield, how can I retreat? Yes. The 2 official-level, undying servants replied respectfully. Relax. I'm after all a beginner emperor. Even if those aliens have special methods and can defeat me, they can't kill me. The black-armored youth shook his head confidently. This time's foreign battlefield is a chance for me to enter the upper echelons of my race. I can't slack off. The 2 servants replied obediently. Sacrifice Yin continent. The black-armored youth looked at the endless dark universe outside and thought to himself. While Su Xian was praying for Luo Feng, the mysterious black-armored youth headed for the Sacrifice Yin continent. Luo Feng was in danger. The vast purple space exuded an aura that made people's hearts palpitate. The large number of special weapons that had been shot out by the 9 pyramids were now floating in different locations in the purple space. These special weapons were either mechanical puppets that were only half a meter tall, or a giant sword that was 100 meters long, or a mechanical puppet that was 1 meters tall with a special shape. All sorts of shapes. They were scattered in every corner of the purple space, and at the same time, they quickly began to converge. Under the powerful replenishment of the purple space's energy, astonishing changes occurred. The millions of special weapons instantly transformed into 81 fully armored giants. 81 giants stood at each corner of the purple space, surrounding the golden horned beast. The shortest of the giants was about 8 meters, and the tallest was about 80 meters. The golden horned beast floated in mid-air, its dark golden eyes observing calmly. But it was shocked in its heart. Looking at the rapid assembling of the countless special weapons, they all seemed to be using G-grade metals. Just these 81 giants, the G-grade metals they use, even if they aren't the peak of the G-grade metals, would at least 10 billion mixed elements. Grade G metals were very expensive. Just like the Ghost Blade and Hexagonal Shield that Luo Feng was currently using, they were both custom-made and were made with G-grade metals. Emperor-level warriors' weapons were almost all made with G-grade metals. After all, F-grade metals were unable to withstand the killing between Emperor-level warriors. To withstand the killing between Emperor-level warriors, even if they were to use G-grade metals, they would have to be of the higher end of the G-grade. Of course, Luo Feng only bought the blade and shield. Even with a low discount, he still spent about 6 million points. Just the blade and shield alone was more expensive than the Yun Mo planet ship. The G-grade metals were obviously many times more expensive than the F9 grade metals. Normally, Regis and Undying would only use a small amount of G-grade metal. It was impossible for them to use it to build spaceships. Only the universe's paragons could afford it. Just these 81 giants in front of him. Such a volume of G-grade metal, even if it was a relatively low-end G-grade metal, would probably be worth billions of mixed elements. That was equivalent to a normal Emperor-level Undying going bankrupt. Just where did the enemy come from? Luo Feng was shocked within, after which he laughed coldly within. No matter where he came from, once I kill him, these will all be mine. This is much more profitable than accumulating points. Silver Wing Emperor. A loud and clear voice came from the mouth of the tallest purple giant, speaking in the common language of the machinery race. The golden horned beast turned to look at the purple dwarf. Compared to the 100 kilometers long golden horned beast, the 80 tall giant was indeed the purple dwarf. Speak. The golden horned beast spoke in automaton language. You've taken my 530,000 automatons. Return them to me, and I'm willing to let you leave. The purple giant looked up at the huge being. You should know my scanning device is far more advanced than yours. You can't detect me, but I can easily detect you. The golden horned beast was silent, its dark golden eyes coldly gazing at the purple giant. These 81 giants of mine are my ultimate move, the 81 god kings of the 9 extreme god country. The purple giant continued. Why do I call them God Kings? Because within the 9 extreme God country, each of them have the strength of a low-level emperor. And this is a solo battle. The moment they unleash my 9 extreme God country's forbidden move, even if you're an emperor-level undying, with an undying body, you'll still be heavily injured, losing a portion of your undying body. I'm afraid you'll need 10 million years to recover. Fight on. It's not worth it. As long as you return me my automatons, I'll let you leave the 9 extreme god country safely. The purple giant said. The golden-horned beast stared at the 81 giants. God King? Low-level emperor, level battle strength? To fight or to make peace, it's up to you, Silver Wing King. The purple giant said. In the distance, the automaton youth Svika, who was controlling the battle, let out a sinister smile. Stupid bastard. Once you give me the automatons, I'll ravage you. When I destroy your body, I'll destroy your world ring, forcing the human sector lord to come out. My goal is to obtain the human sector lord's treasure. However, the 530,000 automatons are all top-quality automatons. I spent about 800 million Yuan units. Spending tens of millions of Yuan units would be able to repair the energy cores of the automatons. After all, it's just a little damage. The energy cores should still be fine. Such top-quality automatons falling into the hands of this beast, it's such a waste. Yuan units, the automaton race's highest currency. If compared to humans, 2 Yuan units was equivalent to 1 mixed element unit. Of course, due to the fact that they were hostile races, money didn't flow freely between them. At most, there were some experts who would barter in private. 1 mixed element was equivalent to 2 Yuan elements, but that was just a rough estimate. When it came to actual bartering, there were naturally huge fluctuations. The golden horned beast observed. The 9 extreme god country obviously wasn't a true god country. It was just a name. Its core should be those 9 floating pyramids. Ho! The golden horned beast let out a low roar. 81 automaton god kings surrounded the golden horned beast from all directions. This was huge trouble. Every automaton god king had a beginner emperor level battle strength. 81 beginner emperor levels were enough to suppress a pinnacle emperor. Furthermore, how could these 81 god kings not have any special methods to coordinate with each other? Just now, the controller had already said that there was a forbidden move from the 9 extreme god country. Do we fight, or... The largest god king looked at the golden horned beast. Automaton undying, you think I'm as stupid as you? The golden horned beast let out a low voice. Your reply doesn't satisfy me. That's why, please enjoy the 9 extreme god country. You are the first warrior to make me use the 9 extreme god country. You should feel honored. The purple giant said. The moment he finished, the 81 god kings immediately exploded with a heart-palpitating energy. All of them became beams of light, surrounding the golden horned beast from all directions. The golden horned beast let out a wanton roar. Hua! Sure Wu's wings flapped, leaving behind 3 twisted trajectories in mid-air, immediately dodging the 12 god kings and rushing towards the corner of the 9 extreme god country. Automaton idiot. He really thinks I'll go head-on against him? Am I stupid, going head-on against a god king made of G-grade metal? My advantage is speed. Even an Emperor Pinnacle warrior, if he doesn't know how to teleport, he won't be able to match the golden horned beast's speed. When he was conversing with the automaton undying before, Luo Feng had already made his battle plan. Dodge! Dodge! Keep dodging. Those 81 god kings were obviously stupid. They had no way of surrounding and attacking the incredibly agile golden horned beast. Let's first tear apart the 9 extreme god country. The golden horned beast spread its wings. When it flew to the edge of the kingdom of 9 extremes, it immediately unleashed the first move of the bright moon strategy. The Wu's slaying wings were like blades, directly slicing through everything in its path. The universe space immediately shattered, and a silver rainbow sliced towards the edge of the purple space. God country, bind! Suika, who was controlling the battle from afar, chanted softly, after which he laughed. This is a powerful weapon my master created. To think it could be broken so easily, he must be dreaming. 9 extreme god country. When the golden horned beast charged to the edge and sliced, suddenly large amounts of purple threads shot out from the purple space. Countless purple threads appeared out of nowhere, coiling at close range. Even the golden horned beast couldn't dodge. Howl! The golden horned beast roared and struggled. Sure Wu's wings flapped wantonly, slicing through large amounts of purple threads. Just as it flew, even more purple threads wrapped around it. God country, split! Suika chanted softly, simultaneously controlling 81 god kings. 9 extreme god country. 81 god kings waved their palms simultaneously, each palm like a blade, seemingly casually slicing down. 81 arcs of light sliced through the sky and earth, rushing completely towards the golden horned beast. While flying, the 81 arcs of light naturally began to clash and fuse, forming a huge blurry blade, and the entire purple space had an endless amount of energy entering it, causing the blade to become clearer and clearer. Finally, it formed a 300 long blade, similar to a real blade. Everywhere the blade passed, a very thin crack would appear in the universe space. What technique is this? The golden horned beast felt helpless against the endless amount of purple threads, but seeing the 300 long normal blade flying through the air, its dark golden eyes revealed a solemn expression, fiercely closing its wings, the entire Sure Wu's wings completely wrapped around the golden horned beast. Yesterday and today were both 3 chapters. It finally made up for the missing chapters. Let's try to get some monthly votes, recommendation votes, etc. Tickets, those are good stuff. Chapter 819. The seemingly normal, huge blade sliced open the space, and in the blink of an eye, it slashed onto the silver wings. The golden horned beast that had its wings wrapped around itself was like a silver egg. The Wu killer wings indeed protected the golden horned beast tightly, not leaving a single gap. Rumble! The golden horned beast was sent flying backwards without any ability to resist. The large amounts of purple threads that were originally wrapped around the golden horned beast were automatically released. A few of the purple threads were shattered by this terrifying force. The golden horned beast that was flying backwards formed a rainbow as it rubbed against the air. Only after flying for hundreds of thousands of km did the golden horned beast release its wings. There was a trace of golden blood at the corner of its mouth, and its dark golden eyes were filled with madness. The Wu slaying wings had absorbed over 90% of the force of the attack, and had also weakened the armor by over 90%. After the Wu slaying wings and general armor, the remaining force of the attack was only 1,000th of the original attack. Even so, it still injured the golden horned beast. Howl! The golden horned beast's wings shook. It became a distorted trajectory in mid-air, flapping its wings thrice, swiftly pouncing towards the nearest God King. Obviously, the 81 God Kings working together could unleash their full power as long as they could tie down one God King. Then it would be much safer. Chi-chi, countless purple threads appeared around the golden-horned beast, without any warning, immediately wrapping around the golden-horned beast. It's these purple threads again. Bastard. Luo Feng raged within. The golden-horned beast madly struggled, causing large amounts of the purple threads to break. However, even more were produced, madly wrapping around, causing the golden-horned beast to feel like it was stuck in a swamp, unable to struggle at all. How? The golden-horned beast struggled, simultaneously roaring angrily. To actually be able to take a blow from my 9 extreme God country without your body shattering, your strength is truly admirable. Among the 81 divine kings in the distance, the tallest divine king suddenly pulled out a huge sword that was even taller than him. At the same time, he growled, "Then take my 9 ultimate divine kingdoms' second strike." Wang, the other 80 god kings, simultaneously extended a finger, shooting out an extremely thin purple light. Even though it was thin, it was extremely condensed. The 80 rays of purple light shot at the huge sword at the same time. At the same time, the highest god king fiercely slashed out with the huge sword in his hand, infused with the laws of space and fire, causing the huge sword to point at a hole in space. The purple sword light followed this hole and pierced into the body of the golden-horned beast, its speed terrifying. The golden-horned beast naturally folded its wings, forcefully withstanding this attack, and was once again sent flying backwards. Your body hasn't exploded yet? Then take my third attack. I don't believe you can still hold on. The highest god king shouted coldly. Each strike was more powerful than the last. This third strike was like a solid giant hammer, smashing onto the wings of the golden-horned beast that were protecting its body. Puff! The golden-horned beast's eyes, nostrils, and ears were all shaken to the point of bleeding. It even spat out mouthfuls of golden fresh blood. When the golden-horned beast was about to fly, the surrounding space once again shot out countless purple threads, causing the golden-horned beast to be enraged. In the distance, the automaton youth Suika, who was controlling the battle, fiercely slammed the alloy chair, causing it to split apart. How can 3 consecutive attacks not destroy his body? The 9 extreme god country was personally created by my master. Under these 3 consecutive attacks, even a peak emperor undying, even with an undying body, would be destroyed. At most, he would just reform it. Why can't his body be destroyed? As long as I can destroy this Silver Wing King's body, its world ring will appear. Through the 9 extreme god country, I will instantly take the world ring, and then cause the world within the ring to collapse. The human sector lord will naturally come out, and my goal will be achieved. But why can't I even destroy this Silver Wing King's body? This is the 9 extremes divine nation. Master spent a lot of effort and wealth to specially refine it for me in consideration of our friendship when we went through life and death together back then, and gifted it to me as a gift. It's a treasure that normal Emperor Undying can't even afford, even if they sell their entire family's fortune. Even though it can't kill a peak Emperor, it can easily destroy their body. But now, Suika couldn't believe this scene. Of course, he didn't doubt the 9 extreme god country. Peak Emperor experts were very powerful. Even if their bodies were destroyed, they could instantly reform and remain unharmed. Hence, it was too difficult to kill them. Suika didn't want to kill this Silver Wing King. He didn't have the confidence to kill Silver Wing King. He just wanted to destroy his body and instantly obtain that Sector Lord, then use the automaton race's special methods to destabilize the world within the ring and cause it to collapse. I don't believe it. Suika gritted his teeth. It's fine if I can't kill you, but I can't even destroy you? Master's 9 extreme god country can't be so weak. Break for me. Suika raged, and that 9 extreme god country immediately started an even more terrifying attack. 4th attack, 5th attack, 6th attack. Those 81 god kings that were equivalent to beginner Emperor-level battle strength used the purple space to help them unleash wave after wave of terrifying attacks. God Country, grinding wheel. Suika gritted his teeth and controlled the 81 God Kings to unleash the 9th attack. It was also the strongest attack of 9 extreme God Country attacks. The 81 God Kings' bodies emitted a blinding light, and the light gathered into the weapons in their hands. At the same time, the weapons in their hands flew out of their palms and gathered in midair. The 81 God Kings' weapons contained the power of the God Kings. The bigger ones were like the 100-meter-long giant sword, while the smaller ones were less than half a meter. They directly formed a strange millstone-like wheel. The edge of the millstone-like wheel was sawtooth. Ka-ka-ka, the millstone-like wheel revolved, and the entire purple space's countless light rays fused into the millstone-like wheel, as though it had become the purple space's core. Hula! The millstone-like wheel charged towards a golden-horned beast, and at the same time, the upper and lower layers of the millstone-like wheel revolved in reverse. Ka-ka-ka, even the universe space was being ground into pieces by the revolutions. When a millstone-like wheel touched the golden-horned beast, it started to crazily grind and intertwine. Even Wu Sha's wings were being twisted by the crazy grinding. Similarly, a portion of the golden-horned beast's body was being crushed into pieces. However, the silver wings that protected the body were not damaged at all. Howl! The golden-horned beast let out a pained roar. Automaton, idiot, stupid bastard. What other tricks do you have? The golden-horned beast let out an angry roar. You only know how to use these annoying purple threads to wrap around me. The millstone-like wheel immediately broke apart and flew back, turning into 81 weapons that flew towards the God Kings. The 81 God Kings looked at the golden-horned beast in the distance, not knowing what to do. 9 extreme God Country's 9 attacks actually couldn't destroy its body. Suika, who was controlling the battle from afar, was both anxious and angry. These 9 attacks were already close to the 9 extreme God Country's strongest power, unless Suika was willing to pay a huge price to unleash the ultimate move of the 9 extreme God Country. That move could even heavily injure an Emperor Pinnacle, destroying a portion of the opponent's undying body, requiring millions or even tens of millions of years to recover. Unleashing a forbidden attack, the price is equivalent to 1 billion Yuan units. Is it worth it? Suika hesitated. 1 billion Yuan units, to an Emperor warrior, was a huge amount of wealth. They wouldn't be willing to lose so much in one battle. Many Emperor warriors would rather self-destruct 5% of their undying body than lose such a huge amount of wealth. Is it worth it? While Suika was hesitating, the golden-horned beast that had just received the 9th attack finally went berserk. 81 God Kings. Unleashing 9 attacks consecutively, its energy is almost all used up. It'll take a while to replenish. The golden-horned beast glanced at the 81 God Kings in the distance. When it unleashed the 9th attack, the 81 God Kings' energy was already extremely weak. At this time, the purple space's countless amounts of energy were pouring into them. The golden-horned beast's eyes were filled with madness. My chances here. Alina, Master, you will lead the Million Emperor Tiger Clan army and attack together. Your strongest attack will break through this purple space. These are the positions of the 9 pyramids that make up the purple space. Pick any pyramid and attack. Luo Feng's body instructed the Bug Clan Queen Alina within his internal world. Yes, Master, Alina replied respectfully. Rumble. Around the golden-horned beast, a blur of countless bug race appeared. Every one of them was about 26 m tall. Their entire bodies were covered in thick carapace. Their dark red bodies emitted a heart-palpitating aura. The blur of 1,000,000 bug race emperors. All of them were exactly the same. At the center of the bug army was the bug race mother nest that was close to 1 kilometer in diameter. Wong, the 1,000,000 bug emperors all extended their claws. Their claws shot out glaring beams of light. These 1,000,000 Sector Lord warriors seemed to have a telepathic connection. In truth, they were indeed distracted by the bug race Queen Alina. simultaneously controlling the million bug emperors. Even though they couldn't unleash an origin law attack, they were still able to accurately attack. Bug race, it's the bug race. A million sector lord bug race. And it's the Tiger Emperor. Quickly destroy it. In the distance, Suika, who was controlling the battle, panicked. A million sector lord bug emperors combined attack. That was already terrifying to the extreme. The combined attack of a million ordinary realm lord warriors will be able to severely injure a peak stage conferred king-ranked martial artist. Of course, the prerequisite was that they had to be able to hit their target. These conferred king-ranked martial artists were not fools. They were all very good at dodging and escaping. Hence, a million-strong realm lord army was usually very effective against a conferred king-ranked martial artist. To hit it was too difficult. However, no one could deny the power of their combined attack. And a million sector Lord Bug Emperor, compared to a million normal sector Lord Bug Emperor, with one combined attack, it would create a chain reaction. Its power would explode and be tens of times stronger. Even an Emperor Pinnacle Warrior would lose 50% to 100% of his undying body. Meaning, even an Emperor Pinnacle Warrior had a chance of dying. This was the terror of a million sector Lord Bug Emperor. Of course, the prerequisite was that they had to hit it. Hitting an Emperor Pinnacle Warrior was very difficult. However, the Million Bug Army was within the 9 ultimate God country. To destroy this purple space was naturally extremely easy. Chapter 820. Today was the second time. Using the entanglement mode to trap those bug warriors? No, that won't do. The instant energy of a million sector Lord Bug Kings is already over 100 times the limit of an Emperor. I can at most instantly trap 10,000 of them, but this doesn't affect the Million Bug Army at all. This move won't work. Entangling the Bug Clan Mother Nest and killing the Bug Clan Queen, 81 God Kings used up almost all of their energy before, and they're still accumulating. And that damned Silver Wing King, he actually used his wings to trap the Bug Clan Mother Nest. Suika stood in the control room, his eyes filled with anxiety. Countless thoughts flashed through his mind. He could only think of one plan: releasing the 8 million automatons from before to fight against the Sector Lord Emperor army might have an effect. It was a pity that he had to release the 8 million automatons. Just this period of time was enough for the Bug Emperor army to combine their attacks a few times. Even though this plan was good, the time didn't allow for it. Give up. I can only give up and watch as the Silver Wing King escapes. Suika made this decision unwillingly. Silver Wing King, count yourself lucky this time. And that damned human sector lord, count yourself lucky too. There were many things to say. In truth, the moment the Million Tiger Emperor army appeared, they had already started their combined attack. Attack! The target is... This purple space wasn't really a space. It was just a space filled with large amounts of energy. The golden horned beast could easily sense the 9 energy sources of the entire purple space, which are the positions of the 9 pyramids, confirming the location. Rumble, 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 a million light pillars, instantly piercing through the purple space. Every light pillar was the full power of the Bug Emperor. The combined power of a million Bug Emperors was enough to make any Emperor-level warrior's expression change. Against such a destructive force, one could only dodge. Even with the golden horned beast's killer wings and general armor, under such a destructive attack, its body would still be completely destroyed. A million light pillars gathered at a single point in the distance. Incomparably accurate. Not a single light pillar had any errors. All of them gathered at a single point. If it was a million human sector lords, even if they trained for 1,000,000 times, they wouldn't succeed even once. This was the Bug Emperor's advantage. Gathering at a single point, a very small point. Silence. The entire purple space was silent. To be precise, it was silent. All sound had disappeared, and the world had disappeared. All that was left were the tiny specks of light formed by the millions of light pillars. It seemed like a long time had passed, but in reality, it was only an instant. The tiny speck of light suddenly exploded. Rumble, the heavens and earth rumbled, and the silent world instantly became noisy. A huge hole was instantly torn open within a radius of 10 million kilometers, and the torrent formed by countless spatial fragments also became chaotic. The huge cosmic space collapsed, and even Svika, who was monitoring the battle from afar, was affected. "Hurry, Alina, all of you come in." The moment the Million Emperor army attacked, the golden horned beast immediately kept Alina and the Million Tiger Emperor back into its internal world. Then, the big explosion spread over. The golden horned beast closed its wings. The light explosion from hundreds of thousands of km away was transmitted to the golden horned beast. Even after killing Wu Yu's wings and weakening its armor, it still caused the golden horned beast to spit out blood. "It's too scary. I have the Wu slaying wings and general armor. I'll be heavily injured from hundreds of thousands of kilometers away. This, if it's a direct hit, even an Emperor Pinnacle fighter with an undying body would find it hard to survive." Even though Luo Feng already knew that this scene was very strong, seeing it with his own eyes, he was still shocked and dumbfounded. That pyramid! The golden horned beast turned fiercely. In the distance, the pyramid that was hit directly had already split open. So, the wings shook. The golden horned beast rushed towards the pyramid like lightning. Svika, who was millions of km away, was unharmed due to the distance. My 9 Extremes God Country's base. Through the detector, Svika could see that one of the 9 pyramids, which was also the one that had been bombarded at almost zero distance, had cracked. This pyramid-shaped spaceship, which could completely resist the attack of a peak Regis-level expert, had been hit by the combined attack of a million Zerg kings. Even though it dodged at the last moment, dodging at that distance was practically useless. That combined attack that caused the core to explode in a 1,000 kilometers area was considered the strongest. The pyramid ship immediately split open. "Master, the base ship is heavily damaged. However, the core cabin is fine." The split-open pyramid's AI reported. Even though it was heavily damaged, the ship's AI was still fine. The important equipment used to construct the 9 Extremes God Country was in the core cabin. It was made by Svika's master and was well protected. It was even better. "That's good." Svika let out a sigh of relief. "Master, the base ship is unable to fly. The internal energy system is completely damaged." The ship's AI reported. "I'll get the Godly King to pick you up." Svika's relaxed expression froze, following which he raged, "Silver Wing Emperor." The detector showed Silver Wing Emperor flapped his wings. With shocking speed, he rushed towards the damaged pyramid ship. The golden horned beast flapped its wings and was the first to fly to the damaged pyramid ship. Its dark golden eyes were filled with excitement. The 9 pyramids were the most important parts of the 9 Extreme God Country. Even though the other 8 pyramids were in perfect condition, it would be hard to get them, but the one in front of it, keep. The golden horned beast tried to keep it in his world ring. With a sweep of the world energy, he realized that the AI within the damaged pyramid ship was still fine. The ship's AI was still controlling some of the ship's defenses to resist. Alina arranged for 10,000 kings to completely destroy the control system of this damaged pyramid ship. Yes, only to see over 10,000 scrawny phantom bug warriors, like ghosts, all rushing into the damaged pyramid ship. Even though they were much scrawnier than the tiger beetles, they were still kings. Just controlling 10,000 bugs, the mother nest didn't even need to come out. It only needed to send 10,000 weak consciousnesses into each bug. Rumble. The pyramid ship was filled with rumbling sounds. The long damaged ship didn't have many functions. It couldn't defend at all. Silver Wing Emperor. Silver Wing Emperor. An angry roar resounded in the golden-horned beast's ears. The golden-horned beast looked into the distance. The 81 godly kings were roaring as they rushed over, all of them crazy. Obviously, they wanted to steal the damaged pyramid ship. "Master, it's a success." "Well done." The golden-horned beast swiftly kept the broken pyramid ship and the 10,000 kings within it into its world ring. "Bastard, In the distance, the automaton warrior Zvika, who saw this through the detector, angrily punched the control board in front of him, directly smashing it into pieces. The ship's control system is damaged 73%. A voice resounded in the control room. "Shut up," Zvika roared, after which he stared at the screen on his arm, gritting his teeth. My base ship! My base ship! Damn Silver Wing Emperor! Damn Silver Wing Emperor!" The 9 great base ships were Zvika's most important treasures. First of all, the 9 million F9 class mechanical marionettes were divided into 9 pedestal spaceships. Each pedestal spaceship had a small mechanical marionette made of G-grade metal, carrying a 1,000,000-strong puppet army through a world ring. However, that spaceship had been blasted apart by the bombardment, and the small G-grade metal marionette had shattered its energy core. The puppet army ring on the pedestal ship was secondary. The most important thing was every base ship's core cabin had a device for setting up the 9 extreme god country. Only when the 9 ships were combined could a complete 9 extreme god country be set up. The moment one was missing, then there was no way to set up the 9 extreme god country. And the devices used to set up the 9 extreme god country were extremely expensive. They were his most important treasures. The golden horned beast kept the broken pyramid ship. It couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. After being suppressed for so long, it had finally retaliated. Silver Wing Emperor. Silver Wing Emperor. 81 god kings were scattered around, looking at the golden horned beast. Ho! The golden horned beast let out a low roar. Without the purple space to help, you can't even replenish your energy. Many of your combined moves can't even be used. Even now, you don't have those purple threads to tie me down. Without those moves, you're no threat to me at all. The wings shook. The golden horned beast knocked 3 god kings away. Under the slaying wings, the 3 god kings were thrown far away, standing in midair. The G-grade metal defense was indeed very strong. "Right now, I can't do anything to you," the highest god king said. "But Silver Wing Emperor, how about we make a deal?" "A deal?" The golden horned beast said softly. "As long as you return that broken ship to me, I'm willing to gift you treasures worth 1 billion mixed elements." The highest god king said. "The value of the broken ship far exceeds 1 billion mixed elements." The golden horned beast said softly. "No." The highest god king carrying a huge sword shook his head. "To me, it's important, but to you humans, you've only obtained 1/9 of the devices in the 9 extreme god country. It's useless even if you take it back. Even if you sell it, you won't be able to sell it for a high price of 1 billion mixed elements. Only I am willing to pay a high price. 9 million automaton army. That's worth 1 billion mixed elements." The golden horned beast said softly. 81 god kings. That's probably worth up to 10 billion mixed elements. And that 9 extreme god country should be the most expensive. Do you really think I'm as stupid as you? So, with a shake of its wings, the golden horned beast flew far away. "We can discuss further." The highest god king hurriedly communicated. "I won't sell the treasures to the enemy. Furthermore, I have my own ways of dealing with the treasures, like my allies, the humans. The humans have many strong warriors. The automaton race's precious devices have always attracted human warriors." The golden horned beast shook its wings, already flying far away. Chapter 821. In the vast sky, a silver light flashed past. The golden horned beast was flying at close to light speed. It's a pity the 9 pyramids are in 9 different directions. They're all very far apart. I've captured the damaged ship. The other 8 have already accelerated to their limits. I can't even catch up. Luo Feng felt his heart ache. The automaton warrior he fought obviously had large amounts of treasures. Those 9 pyramids, each one of them was extremely valuable. He had gotten 3 billion points from the domain Lord Primal Sky Mountain. The value of one ship probably wouldn't be too far off. This kind of opportunity is hard to come by, Luo Feng exclaimed. Actually, if it wasn't for the Sector Lord Emperor Bug Army tearing apart that ship, even if the golden horned beast could catch up to it, it wouldn't be able to do anything to it. As he flew, Luo Feng reflected on the battle before. From the start to the end, He didn't do anything wrong. However, he did lose out. Firstly, because his scanning device wasn't as good as the opponent, allowing the opponent to gain the upper hand. Against the 9 million F9 level puppets surrounding him, he had no other choice but to let the golden horned beast fight. And the golden horned beast was indeed very intrepid, wantonly obtaining hundreds of thousands of puppets as spoils of war, forcing the opponent to use the 9 extreme god country. The moment the 9 extreme god country was used, especially with the countless purple threads coiling around it, it caused the golden horned beast to lose its greatest advantage of speed. It could only let the 81 god kings attack. Luckily, the Wu-murdering wings and general armor were still very strong under the dual defense of the 81 god kings. In the end, while the 81 god kings were almost out of energy, it instantly used the million sector lord army. That's smart. Luckily, I kept it under control, only using the 1 million sector Lord Emperor army at the very end. If I had used it right from the start, whether it was against the 9 million F9 level puppets or the 81 god emperors, I would have been at a disadvantage. The sector Lord Emperor army's combined attack power is extremely strong, but their individual defense is too weak. In conclusion, the reason why I've always been at a disadvantage, the most important reason is the scanning device. Without the scanning device, I don't even know the opponent's every move. I'm completely led by the nose. That's why I'm so passive. If I had a more advanced scanning device than the opponent, before the opponent ambushes me, I would have been able to discover him long ago, even making him unable to discover me. Luo Feng's side, the tragedy is, even now, I don't know where the opponent's true body is. Luo Feng and Svika both had their own trump cards. Svika's strength was weak, and he relied on various instruments and other means. Luo Feng's battle ability was stronger. If Luo Feng had a better scanning device, then he would be able to sneakily get closer and even let the 1 million sector Lord army attack the enemy ship, immediately killing that automaton warrior. That way, Luo Feng would be able to earn a huge sum, and it would be easy as well. Detector. It's the scanning device. Luo Feng realized the importance of the scanning device. He had been frustrated in this battle because he had always been on the passive side. The golden horned beast that was flying at high speed seemed to have sensed something and turned back to look. It had a feeling that the automaton warrior was still monitoring it. That machine race expert still hasn't given up. He could very well be following me from afar. That's right. The automaton warrior's losses are so huge, especially with the important parts of his 9 extreme god country in my hands. How could he be willing to let me go? He'll definitely follow me from afar and think of a way to snatch it back from me. What do I do? Luo Feng thought anxiously, hating within that his scanning device wasn't good enough. Just let him follow me? He obviously has a background and ability. He'll definitely think of a way to snatch that broken pyramid ship from me. Letting him follow me is like placing a time bomb that can take my life by my side, ready to explode at any time. I can't care so much. I still have to give up some money. Luo Feng made his decision. Luo Feng's guess was correct. 300 million kilometers away from Luo Feng, a pyramid ship was following him. Within the control room, the gloomy-looking Zvika sat in a metal chair, looking at the silver beast projected before him, gritting his teeth. Silver Wing Emperor, I can't lose even one of my 9 great base ships. Without even one, I can't set up the 9 extreme god country. You want to take it away? Dream on. Originally, I didn't want to pay such a huge price to kill you. Killing an Emperor-level Undying, the price is too high. However, you stole the 9 extreme god country ship master-built for me. You're forcing me. Svika's eyes were filled with madness. Then die. Just wait to die. A thread of Svika's consciousness had long entered the virtual world. This was a virtual world the automaton race had set up in the battlefield outside. Virtual world. D. Svika was standing in front of screen and connecting at the same time. After a while, a figure appeared on the screen. It was a fat, strange creature about 2 meters tall and 1 meter wide. His body was covered with scales, but among the countless scales on his body, there were eyes on some scales. The dense number of eyes made one's heart palpitate. On his head was the largest golden eye. A formless energy that made one's heart palpitate seemed to pass through the screen. If Luo Feng took one look, he would recognize this was a very strong race in the universe, the thousand-eyed heart race life form. The thousand-eyed heart race's population was extremely small, but their individual strength was extremely strong. This caused the entire thousand-eyed heart race to be considered a strong race in the universe. They didn't need to be subordinate to the pinnacle races. However, a few of the thousand-eyed heart race's warriors still joined one of the four factions, obtaining the qualifications to enter the battlefield outside to train themselves. Battle was the best way to train the strong. A true absolute warrior wouldn't fear battle. They would only constantly give themselves pressure to train and strengthen themselves. Momobu, Svika was obviously very polite. "Oh, it's my dear Svika." The thousand-eyed heart race life form smiled. The dense number of eyes on his body seemed to be smiling. It made one's heart tremble. "You should know I'm currently in the Star Tower. This is an extremely dangerous place. I don't like to be distracted. Knowing this, you still came looking for me. Speak, what's the matter?" "It's like this." Svika gritted his teeth and swiftly explained, slightly changing the battle content. However, the essence of the matter didn't change. "What I want to do is kill this Silver Wing Emperor and take back my weapon parts." "Oh, the human faction's Silver Wing Emperor?" The thousand-eyed heart race's Momo-Bu said suspiciously. "He actually took away your important weapon parts. However, Svika, he's after all an Emperor-level Undying. You should know how difficult it is to kill an Emperor-level Undying. There's hope of heavily injuring him, but to kill him, I've already planned it out." Svika said, "This Silver Wing Emperor's body defense is extremely strong, and his flying speed is extremely fast, very strange. And his attack power can't match up to his terrifying defense. Obviously, his comprehension of the origin laws isn't too high. He's only good at defense. He should have some treasures on him. And his battles have always relied on close combat. Hence his soul is probably weaker. And Momobu, you're an absolute warrior that specializes in the soul. As long as you make a move, then there's a 90% chance of success." Svika said. On the screen, the thousand-eyed heart race absolute warrior didn't immediately agree. Seeing this, Svika said, "I can't let Momobu waste time. After all, Momobu, you are now in the Star Tower. I'm willing to use 3 billion units of Yulan to invite Momobu to act. Moreover, when you kill that Silver Wing King, the military merits will naturally be counted in your hands. Furthermore, Momobu, you can get a lot of the spoils of war after Silver Wing King dies." Oh, all the eyes on Momobu's body lit up. 3 billion Yulan units, generous enough. After all, Emperor-level Undying spent trillions of years to accumulate that much wealth. To pay such a huge price for a single invitation was very rare. This Svika is really rich. His master dotes on him so much. He's just an official-level pinnacle. Yet his wealth is even higher than many Emperor-level Undying. Momobu couldn't help but sigh, just like how Candle Emperor was famous as the only son of Elder Eroding Fire. This Svika was also rather famous in the automaton race. One had to know that automaton race were AIs. They didn't have the concept of parents and children. Hence, Svika was the most important relative of that absolute warrior. "I'm at Star Tower. How do I get there?" Momobu asked. "Using a universe ship? That'll take half a year." "No." Svika shook his head. "Using a universe ship to fly slowly would take a long time. Momobu, use the God Nation transfer. I'll give you the safe coordinates. You can directly transfer to Yenji continent." God Nation transfer. This will expose my God Nation's coordinates. With your abilities, Momobu, who do you fear in Yenji continent? Furthermore, only I know your God Nation coordinates. Being in the same camp, you can't betray your comrade. Momobu, you'll definitely have plenty of time to transfer God Nation and change the coordinates." Svika advised. Momobu finally agreed. After all, if this deal was successful, his gains would be huge. In a short while, in the virtual world, Svika's residence. "Let me introduce, this is also my automaton camp, from the orb race, King Jiujian." Svika pointed to the thin and short man who was wearing a silver mask. That man's hands were like the claws of a wild beast. They were like sharp knives. King Jujian is a peak-stage king-ranked martial artist with the ability to teleport. King Jiujian. This is from the Thousand-Eyed Heart race. He's also the famous Death Spirit King in the 7th battlefield of the extraterritorial battlefield. Svika pointed at Momobu from the Thousand-Eyed Heart race. King Jiujian, Death Spirit King. They were both peak titled kings, of course, in terms of fame. Death Spirit King was much more famous because there were many titled kings and undying that died in his hands. Death Spirit King. That short King Jiujian looked at Momobu. Aren't you at Star Tower? Momobu smiled. All his eyes filled with smiles. I just rushed over. Chapter 822. Coming from Star Tower. 9 Firmament King smiled. Svika must have paid a huge price to invite you, Death Spirit King. However, after this battle, I will go to the Star Tower with you. My gains on the Flaming Sacrifice continent are getting smaller and smaller. I might as well go to Star Tower. Maybe there will be some opportunities. You want to come too? Momobu nodded slightly. All right. The foreign battlefield was divided into different battle zones according to the degree of danger. The Flarite continent was the most dangerous place in the area of Human Camp 026. However, in the entire 7-star region, the Flarite continent was extremely dangerous, but there was a higher level of danger than it. The most dangerous place. Star Tower was one of them. Star Tower was a level higher than Yinji continent. Many foreign race kings and immortals gathered there. Marquises were considered weak there. Then let's study how to deal with Silver Wing King, King 9 Toughness said. We can also decide on the loot distribution plan early, in case there's a conflict in the end, Momobu said. Yes. Svika smiled and nodded. Svika and the 2 kings he invited were discussing the detailed plan to deal with Silver Wing King and confirming the distribution of the loot. Haha, according to this plan, there are 2 more contingency plans. Even if Silver Wing King doesn't die, he will be sealed. Svika seemed very excited. Svika's expression froze instantly, showing anger. Svika? The 2 super warriors from Pellet Race and Thousand-Eyed Heart Race sensed something was wrong. Ashamed, Svika stood up, unable to hide the anger in his eyes. He shook his head. We can't deal with Silver Wing King for now. What's going on? King 9 Toughness and Death Spirit King were angry. Was he messing with them? The plan was in place. The distribution of the loot was almost settled, and they were about to act. Now, he said he couldn't deal with him. Please look. Svika suppressed his anger, pointed to the air, and condensed the screen. The screen showed the scene that Svika had detected through the detector. On the screen, a huge silver wing monster was flying. Suddenly, a beautiful, translucent figure appeared next to it. The figure exuded immortal power and wrapped around the silver wing monster. Shwa! He disappeared into thin air. Teleportation? King Jiujian and the Death Spirit King frowned. Yes, teleportation. Svika gnashed his teeth. This hateful Silver Wing King is too cunning. I secretly followed him, but he was able to detect it and decisively asked for help from his allies. This teleportation is completely beyond the range of my detector. I don't even know where this Silver Wing King is. King Jiujian and the Death Spirit King looked at each other helplessly. However, the 2 of you, this is not the end. I will post a reward on the Yinji continent and ask our allies to help keep an eye on it. Once we find the coordinates of the Silver Wing King, I will know immediately. I will also inform you 2 immediately. King Jiujian and the Death Spirit King nodded. That's the only way. The Death Spirit Lord nodded. Then I'll take my leave. His consciousness left the virtual world. Find me after you discover the Silver Wing King. King Jiujian also left. The 2 king-ranked existences were clearly unhappy. If it weren't for Svika's powerful background, the 2 of them wouldn't have been so easy to talk to. Bastard. Svika slammed the table angrily and gritted his teeth. You actually escaped. As long as you are on the Yinji continent, I will not give you a chance. I will ask countless allies to keep an eye on you. Once you are found, you are finished. Immediately, Svika began to inform a large number of allies on the Yinji continent and began to offer a large reward for finding the Silver Wing King. Two figures appeared out of thin air in the middle of an icy lake on the edge of the Sacrifice Flame continent. The larger one was as large as a mountain and covered in silver scales. It was a silver monster with huge scaled wings. The smaller one was more than 10 meters tall and also had misty wings. She had a seductive figure. Her body was translucent, and she wore a thin layer of armor. She had beautiful long hair and a pair of eyes as deep as the sea. Star Illusion King. The golden-horned beast looked down at the tiny one. Thank you for your help. Helping you once, Silver Wing King, can easily earn 10 million mixed elements. If there are more opportunities like this, you can find me again. This is much easier than killing an official peak. The translucent wings slightly flapped. The Star Illusion King's eyes were like water. If there is nothing else, Silver Wing King, I will be leaving. The golden-horned beast slightly nodded. Hua! The Star Illusion King disappeared into thin air. Earning money is so easy. The golden-horned beast instantly disappeared, and the black-armored Luo Feng appeared in the lake. He couldn't help but mutter, hiring me once costs 10 million mixed elements. Teacher Hu Yinbo's entire wealth is only this much. Spending money to avoid disaster. If I teleport 1 light year away, then Svika won't be able to find me no matter what. Luo Feng thought to himself. Before, Luo Feng guessed that Svika wouldn't give up and was most likely following him. So he immediately made the decision to spend money to hire someone for help. Even though he could also ask his third senior, the Bloodthirsty King, for help, the Bloodthirsty King himself wasn't in the foreign battleground. Teleporting to his god country from afar, and that area was constantly monitored by Svika, would easily expose his third senior's god country coordinates. So, Luo Feng would rather spend more money to hire a human ally on the Yinji continent who could teleport. He asked the other party to teleport away with him. It was a very easy job. Just teleporting didn't require a battle, hence the price wasn't too high. 10 million mixed elements was a very normal price. If it was too low, the absolute warriors that could teleport wouldn't bother with it. This price was considered normal. If you were to hire an ally to fight to the death, the price would be very high. Ooh! Luo Feng flipped his hand, and a sesame seed-sized silver feather appeared in his palm, immediately entering his body. A pair of wings immediately grew from his back. The color of the wings changed slightly. It was, after all, a treasure. Changing colors was very easy. After merging with the Wu Killer wings, Luo Feng's entire body emitted a slight pressure. His Sector Lord aura was completely covered by the wings. Immediately, Luo Feng became a deity with black wings. Let's go. Luo Feng casually flipped his hand and chose a C9 grade universe ship from the countless ships. He sat in the ship and broke through the water, swiftly leaving. The ship flew above the Yinji continent. Luo Feng, Luo Feng. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. There's an important message. Take a look. This is what the scanning device just picked up. It's a conversation between the undyings of a foreign race team 920 million kilometers away. HM. Luo Feng sat within the control room and looked down at the screen on his arm. It immediately displayed a video. Within it were 3 undyings conversing. 50 million Yuan units. What a huge sum. 50 million Yuan units just to buy Silver Wing Emperor's coordinates. The moment the coordinates are confirmed, we'll get 50 million Yuan units. Just where did this bounty come from? Just the coordinates alone is worth such a high price. Isn't he a little too rich? Who knows? However, this bounty hunter definitely wouldn't dare lie to us. This is a public bounty. Countless allies know about it. If he dared to lie, cheat, and not pay, he would be offending countless allies of Yinji continent. Poor Silver Wing Emperor. This Silver Wing Emperor will have a hard time moving on Yinji continent. Looking at the contents, Luo Feng's expression became serious. He frowned. Luo Feng, that enemy indeed isn't willing to give up. Babata communicated mentally. Not giving up is normal. After all, I've stolen one of his important ships. That's where the 9 extreme god countries' important parts are stored. Luo Feng sneered. However, he actually placed a bounty on countless allies of Yinji continent to find my coordinates. Looks like that punk has definitely prepared a series of methods and is confident in dealing with me. Otherwise, he wouldn't have placed a bounty on me. Looks like my golden horned beast can't reveal itself for now. It's best to be careful. Babata also spoke seriously. Luo Feng nodded. He was very clear on this point. The enemy had prepared many methods and was just waiting to act against him. Hateful that my scanning device is much lower end than his. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to suffer so much. The moment my scanning device is higher end than his, then I'll be able to suppress him. Luo Feng gritted his teeth. There's no time to lose. I'll return to Camp 026 now and think of a way to sell my spoils of war for a high price. Only with enough wealth can I buy a high-end scanning device. So, the universe ship swiftly flew out of Yinji continent. The journey from Yinji continent back to Camp 026 would take about a year and a half. When Luo Feng was on his way back, he arrived at the closest shuttle point to Yinji continent. Wong, the universe space rippled, and a pitch-black sword-shaped universe ship appeared. Shuttle complete. Your Majesty, we still need about 6 more days to reach the outermost region of Yinji continent. There are large amounts of land fragments there. Even the fragments are huge. We'll need to fly for a long time. We'll need about 1 or 2 months to reach the main continent of Yinji continent. Ichung, the black-armored youth that looked like a statue, emitted a dark energy. Through the universe ship, he gazed at the endless space. Yinji continent is my first step, the black-armored youth said softly. Just as the black-armored youth's spaceship passed through, the expression of Luo Feng, who was still in the spaceship outside the Yinji continent, changed. Luo Feng turned fiercely and stared at the shuttle point. His gaze seemed to pass through space and stared at the boundless point. That treasure. Luo Feng felt all the cells in his body tremble and cheer. It was like countless hungry beggars seeing food. This cheer that came from every cell in his body, all locked onto one direction. Luo Feng could even feel that distant point in space. The treasure that made all his cells cheer was right there. This feeling, it's similar to meeting a soldier or general armor. Luo Feng's heartbeat sped up. But even a soldier or general armor hasn't made my entire body tremble like this. This feeling, even from such a distance, is so strong. It's definitely far more important than a soldier or a general armor. Luo Feng gulped. Just what is it? P.S. 2 chapters completed. The wind and clouds were rising. Chapter 823. In space outside Yin G continent, a C9 grade silver blue universe flying ship was flying. The distance is shrinking. The distance between us is shrinking. Luo Feng's expression was serious within the control room. Every cell in his body was trembling and cheering. Every cell locked onto a distant point, allowing Luo Feng to clearly determine that as time went on, that point was getting closer and closer to Yinji continent. It's moving. Then just what is it to actually be able to summon me from such an exaggerated distance? Luo Feng creased his eyebrows as he pondered. Out of 10, it should have something to do with the Nameless Manual. Only treasures related to the Nameless Manual, like armors or general armors, will be able to summon me. The so-called summoning feeling, Luo Feng already felt it was too mysterious. Even treasures shouldn't be able to produce a summoning feeling, like the Wu Killer Wings or the Beast God Weapon, etc. The strong and primal chaosity were as common as the clouds. There were countless treasures too. However, there had never been such a summoning feeling. And when Luo Feng searched in the virtual universe network, he didn't find any treasure that could produce a summoning feeling. Regarding this, Luo Feng only had one deduction. This treasure should have strict requirements for the owner. Like only those who train in the Nameless Manual could use it. Hence, there was such a strong summoning feeling. I've checked. Within the Virtual Universe Company's treasury, There aren't any armor that can give a user 1,000 times the Sector Lord strength, or even 10,000 times. These special armors, at least with my authority, I haven't found any in the treasury. And the armor and general armor shards have been in the Wu Long Starfield for countless years. They've been treated as trash, probably because no one has discovered its uniqueness. Luo Feng nodded. In conclusion, the treasures related to the Nameless Manual should be very rare. At least humans shouldn't have much understanding of it. It's moving. Then what is it? Was it a treasure? Or a life form? Luo Feng was filled with curiosity. Days passed. Luo Feng sat in the ship and flew continuously in space outside Yanji continent. However, it was simply too huge. After flying at sublight speed for 3 months, the ship still hadn't left the main continent. It's getting closer. It's getting closer and closer to me. I estimate that we'll meet in another 10 to 15 days. Luo Feng suppressed his excitement. These 3 months, it has always been flying, and its movement speed has always maintained sublight speed. Then, it is very likely that it is in a spaceship. The distance between them was shrinking. After shrinking to about 10 billion kilometers, Luo Feng purposely stopped the ship. Stop! Luo Feng's eyes were like lightning, looking into the endless space, almost as though he could see the ship in the distance. A distance of 10 billion kilometers, 9 billion kilometers, 8 billion kilometers. The distance continued to shrink, and in the blink of an eye, 5 hours had passed. No! Luo Feng frowned and shook his head. It didn't head directly in my direction. Instead, it continued to fly within the Sacrifice Yin continent. I can sense it, but the ship shouldn't be able to sense me. Otherwise, it would have flown directly in my direction. This means that the owner of that spaceship isn't like me, who can sense armors and general armors. Very good. Luo Feng smiled. The other party did not have the ability to sense treasures. This was good news. Close in. Luo Feng ordered close in. Yes. Babata replied. Luo Feng pointed in a direction. The spaceship headed towards the mysterious treasure. The distance continued to shrink. 3 billion kilometers, 2 billion kilometers, asterisk, 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 asterisk. The sword-shaped ship was flying above the Sacrifice Yin continent. Within the ship, the black armored youth stood within the control room, looking at the endless scenery outside. He laughed loudly. It is indeed the foreign battlefield. This Sacrifice Yin continent really has many strong warriors. I've been in the main continent for 1 to 2 months, and I've already clashed with the foreign races more than 10 times. These foreign races have their own unique methods. It's really satisfying. Being cooped up in one's own race. How can one meet so many foreign races? Only after coming to this vast universe where the strongest are gathered in the foreign battlefield can one truly feel the vastness of the universe and the diversity of the races. I've discovered many groups of foreign race warriors. Almost none of them are the same. Most of them are from different races. This is, after all, the foreign battlefield, the battlefield of the 4 pinnacle races. A servant said respectfully, "When will my race become the pinnacle race?" The black armored youth sighed. Even though my race is a strong race and a pinnacle race, even though they're only 1 level apart. But the difference in strength is who knows how much. Whether it's the number of basic undyings or the number of absolute warriors, we're not on the same level. Only by allying with the other strong races can we compete with the pinnacle races. Your Majesty, a servant said respectfully, there are after all only 6 pinnacle races in the universe. To become one is already extremely difficult. What's more, we have allied with the other strong races, a large alliance. Naturally, we don't fear the pinnacle races, at least we can talk on equal terms. The black armored youth nodded. In the universe, the 6 pinnacle races were the strongest of the trillions of races. However, that didn't mean they were invincible. After all, even though the other races couldn't compare to the 6 pinnacle races individually, if all of them were added together, they would be thousands to tens of thousands of times stronger than the 6 pinnacle races. After all, there were simply too many of them, hence there were many alliances in the universe. Even if they were individually weak, after forming an alliance, they could still compete with the Six Pinnacle races. There were strong and weak alliances too. The competition between the powers in the universe was extremely cruel. Even the arrogant space beasts, under the universe's environment, were forced to form the Space Beast Alliance, causing the other races to not dare to offend them. The Space Beasts could only do this much. As for the Demon race, trying to make the Space Beasts merge with them. The Space Beasts were extremely disdainful of the Demon race. How could they possibly merge with them? The distance between the two ships was shrinking. 1 billion kilometers. This was the limit of Luo Feng's scanning device. It should be around 990 million kilometers away from us. Luo Feng could clearly feel the coordinates of the treasure. Babata, have you discovered it 990 million kilometers? But Luo Feng, the detector didn't detect any universe ships at all at the 990 million kilometers mark. I only discovered that at the 510 million kilometers and 780 million kilometers mark, there was a universe ship each. Babata said, I didn't discover the target Luo Feng. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Continue to get closer. Follow the coordinates. Luo Feng continued to order. The distance continued to shrink. 800 million kilometers, 700 million kilometers, 600 million kilometers. I haven't discovered it. Nope. Right now, within the 420 million range, I haven't detected any ships. Babata said, I haven't detected any other sublight speed objects either. Luo Feng's expression was ashen. He had clearly sensed that the object was flying at sublight speed. However, the scanning device couldn't detect it. Then the biggest possibility was the other party had a scanning device that was even more advanced than his. The automaton race before had a scanning device that was more advanced than mine. Don't tell me the life form I'm about to meet now has a scanning device that's also more advanced than mine. Luo Feng gritted his teeth. Stop, Luo Feng ordered. The ship stopped, and the distant sword-shaped ship continued to move forward. Even though it wasn't completely opposite, the distance between them was still shrinking. 380 million kilometers. 360 million kilometers. 300 million kilometers. Luo Feng, who was constantly sensing the movement of the dot, could clearly feel that it had suddenly changed directions and was actually heading towards his direction. It was incredibly accurate. Obviously, it had locked onto Luo Feng's ship. I've been discovered. Luo Feng fiercely opened his eyes. The other party has already discovered me. Luo Feng lowered his head and looked at the screen on his arm. The screen still didn't show the target he was looking for. There wasn't even a sublight speed object. My scanning device hasn't been able to find the other party. However, at 300 million kilometers, he immediately confirmed my position and changed directions, flying precisely towards me. Obviously, he has an even more advanced scanning device. Within the sword-shaped ship. In the distance, there's a black feathered human. He's the only one in the ship. He's probably one of the human winged people warriors. The servant said respectfully, Your Majesty's scanning device was also gifted by the knight. It's definitely one of the best scanning devices in the entire Flaming Sacrifice continent. The human Undying didn't even sense it at all. The black-armored youth nodded. The distance between the two was shrinking. 200 million kilometers, 100 million kilometers. The sword-shaped ship headed straight towards Luo Feng's ship. The direction was precise and without any hesitation. What do I do? Luo Feng felt his entire body's cells tremble. His blood was boiling, excited, cheering, almost as though he was about to obtain some incredible treasure. This instinctive urge was forcefully suppressed by Luo Feng. I'll give my all and fight. It's better to immediately dodge and flee. If I were to fight, the bug army has to be within 100,000 kilometers. If it's too far away, it'll be too easy to dodge. If I let the golden horned beast go, then there's a chance of it revealing its coordinates. I don't know which faction this ship belongs to. I can only confirm that it's not the human faction. If it's the automaton faction, the moment it sees the golden horned beast, it'll probably immediately inform the automaton enemy. The enemy will probably teleport and appear immediately. Luo Feng made an intense plan within. Yeah, what do I do? To have such a high-end scanning device, it's definitely not a normal official level undying. Either it has a huge background or it's extremely strong. And my Earth body can only deal with a low-level official level undying. To be able to use such a high-end scanning device, it can't be that it doesn't even have a low-level official level fighting strength. Luo Feng was anxious. He wanted to fight and snatch the treasures. However, his strength wasn't enough. The only hope he had was the golden horned beast, and there's a risk of it being exposed. If it really was exposed, then the automaton warrior's revenge would definitely be terrifying. He could very well lose his life. 90 million kilometers. 80 million kilometers. Luo Feng could clearly feel the distance shrinking. Chapter 824. The distance continued to close. Luo Feng, don't take the risk. Don't let the treasures get to your head. Babata anxiously transmitted his voice. This is the extraterritorial battlefield. Although you might be able to obtain treasures by taking the risk, whether it's against this team or against the mechanical race, your detection device is inferior to theirs. You're at a disadvantage. If you take the risk, you may lose your life. Luo Feng could clearly feel that point getting closer. 56. 39 million kilometers. 50 million kilometers, the closer it got, the stronger the calling he felt. If his willpower wasn't strong enough, just his body's instincts would have made him charge madly for the treasures. Go! Luo Feng gritted his teeth and ordered, go immediately, head to the transfer point. Yes, Babata said excitedly. So, the stopped universe ship suddenly sped up. After a while, it was flying at sublight speed outside the Yenji continent. This scene made the black-armored youth who was chasing behind frown. Your Majesty, the target has activated. His speed has reached sublight speed, and he's completely going around us. If we want to chase him, because his speed is similar, we can only try to get closer. I'm afraid it'll take a very long time to catch up. The prerequisite is that he doesn't know we're chasing him. A servant said. The black-armored youth shook his head. This human is lucky. Give up on this target. There are plenty of other strong warriors on the Yenji continent. Yes. The sword-shaped ship began to slow down and turn, heading towards its original direction. And so, the distance between the two ships began to gradually increase. Luo Feng sat in the control room holding the blood shadow blade. He gently caressed it and said softly, a little impatience spoils big plans. More haste makes waste. I have to be calm. Right now, my scanning apparatus is lower than the opponent's, and I can't use my strongest power. And I don't know anything about the opponent. I only know that to be able to use such a scanning apparatus, he's obviously a strong opponent with some background. If we fight now, I probably won't be able to beat him. I might even get myself into trouble. Luo Feng shook his head. Endure. Anyway, he's already arrived at the Yenji continent. And looking at the direction, he's obviously going deep into the continent to explore it. From here, maintaining sublight speed to the transfer point would take about 3 months, and I'll be back in less than 4 months after returning to the barracks. Unless he's stupid enough to immediately return after arriving at the continent. Otherwise, when I return from the barracks, I can still find him, Luo Feng confirmed. Everyone who came to the Yenji continent, as long as they didn't die, had wandered for hundreds of years at the very least, or tens of thousands of years at the very most. The opponent's spaceship had just arrived at the Yazi continent after a long and arduous journey. Looking at the direction it was flying, it was clearly heading deep into the Yazi continent. The Yazi continent was vast and boundless. Once it was deep in, it would take a few years just to fly one round. I can sense it regardless of the distance. When I return, I'll be able to clearly sense his location. Yes, let's return to the barracks. Although he was unwilling, he could only endure it and wait until he returned from the base before taking action. They flew all the way from the Yenji continent to the teleportation point, and then traveled through the universe in the dark universe. Then, they traveled back to the original universe and headed for the 026 military camp. It took more than 3 months. Barrack's base. The disc-shaped universe ship was like a grain of sand, while the base was like a huge planet. Luo Feng looked at the base from afar. It had a diameter of a few million km and was even larger than the sun. It could be said to have reached the pinnacle of AAA god bases. The beautiful rainbow energy barrier energy cycle, the ancient and ancient cannons, along with the complicated and peculiar origin law engravings on them. It made even the current Luo Feng feel a chill down his spine. A war machine that was like an art. D. Soldier Luo Feng, from now on your ship will be under the control of the base. You're not allowed to resist. If you resist, you will be attacked by the base, bear the consequences. As the ship neared the base, it was forcefully stripped of control. Who? The universe ship was controlled and entered through one of the pathways in the base. After flying for a while, entered a large hall. Luo Feng, it was time to return. Welcome, soldier. A silver uniformed human attendant smiled as he welcomed Luo Feng, who walked out of the cabin. Do you choose to retire or rest in the base? Rest. Luo Feng waved his hand and kept the ship in his world ring. Please follow me. The attendant smiled. Luo Feng followed. The attendant said, while saying, as a free soldier, you don't have to follow the army's arrangements. You can freely choose when to fight and when to rest. You could choose to bring troops or not. However, it's rare to see a single person roaming the battlefield outside. I don't like crowds. Luo Feng glanced at him. The attendant smiled. The two of them became two beams of light and flew, very quickly reaching the region 10,000 kilometers away. At the end of the pathway on the left is the entertainment area. Restaurants, gatherings, etc. are all there. And right ahead is where you free soldiers live. Free soldiers are treated much better than conscripted soldiers. The attendant smiled and said, you'll be randomly assigned a place. You should receive a number. Just follow that number and move in. As for the entertainment area, you can head to the left. If you want to head out to fight, just follow the path you came in from. Luo Feng nodded. Then I won't disturb you any further. The attendant was very polite and left. Luo Feng looked ahead. Not bad. Luo Feng complimented. In the 10,000 kilometers area, there are mountain ranges, rivers, forests, snow, deserts, etc. This was the best place in the base, almost like a vacation on a planet. For a base with a diameter of a few million km, opening up such a space was very easy. Luo Feng's place was on an island in the middle of a lake. Soldier Luo Feng, this island is your private island. During your stay, no one is allowed to enter. The beautiful island had become Luo Feng's private territory. Luo Feng walked on the soft sand, satisfied. Hey! A shout resounded from the distance. Luo Feng turned to look. On the distant island, there was a human, undying warrior, dressed in a loose, long robe, his entire body covered in green fur, standing barefooted on the beach. Even though the distance was quite far, both could see the sand around him with their naked eyes. That green-haired man smiled. My name is Ku Tuo. Welcome to being my neighbor. My name is Yang. Luo Feng smiled too. Yang, are you at the pinnacle of official level or emperor level? The distant Ku Tuo smiled. HM? Luo Feng was curious. Why are you asking this? Haha. This free territory is for free soldiers to live in. However, the residences are all different. Some are normal residences on land. Some are slightly taller, which are large and comfortable villas. As for those who can occupy an entire island or a mountain peak, these top-notch residences are usually reserved for those with extremely high military merits. They are usually king-ranked martial artists, but I feel that your aura is like that of a peak-stage marquee conferred martial artist. Luo Feng laughed involuntarily. Yes, his military merits mainly depended on the golden-horned beast, hence he earned quite a lot, and his efficiency was extremely high. The residences he was allocated were also for the emperor-level warriors. And after his earth body merged with the Wu killer wings, the pressure he released under his control was indeed comparable to an official-level pinnacle. I can barely be considered an emperor, Luo Feng said. However, I don't have a title yet. Haha, looks like you've improved in the alien battlefields. I'm Ku Tuo. My title is Rumbling Emperor. The green-haired man on the distant island laughed. Very nice to meet you. I still have things to do. Once I'm done, let's go to the restaurant for a drink. Luo Feng smiled. All right. The green-haired man smiled. The strong were like that. If one wanted to make friends, they would usually make friends with others of similar strength. And with the internal arrangements of the army bases, they would naturally give the strong special treatment. Luo Feng then entered his own residence. This was a very tasteful residence. The island itself covered an area of about 1.2 square kilometers. There were some one-story and two-story ancient wooden buildings on the island. Around these ancient buildings, there were some ancient carvings, as well as various blue ponds of various shapes. It's a good place to take a vacation. Luo Feng kept the armor in his body and jumped into the warm pool in his pants. Lying in the pool, it was very comfortable. Time to study the spoils of war. Within the world of the World Ring, demon killer Luo Feng was dressed in black, standing before the huge broken pyramid ship. That automaton warrior is so rich. However, this ship is his lifeline. Otherwise, he wouldn't have put a bounty on my head. Black-clothed Luo Feng followed the crack and entered the pyramid ship's pathway. Following the revolving pathway, he began to carefully inspect the cabins. Babada! Black-clothed Luo Feng shouted. With a wave of his hand, robots appeared out of thin air in the pathway. Arrange for us to carefully study this ship. Black-clothed Luo Feng ordered. Relax, leave it to me. One of the robots replied. The rest of the robots immediately began to scatter, and the black-clothed Luo Feng stood in front of a short G-grade automaton. This was the only G-grade automaton in the entire pyramid ship. However, when it was attacked by the Million Emperor Zerg army back then, even though this automaton's body wasn't destroyed, the energy core within was completely shattered. After all, even the Golden Horned Beast would be destroyed if it was hit, much less this automaton. This G-grade automaton, just the metal on its body is worth quite a bit. Black-clothed Luo Feng muttered, after which he used his world energy to scan, inspecting all the items on the automaton's body, very quickly discovering a world ring. It should be a ring that hides the automaton army. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Chapter 825. This world ring had always been controlled by the G-grade automaton. Hence it didn't have any life imprints. It was an ownerless item. Immediately, the black-clothed Luo Feng used his world energy to scan it. Haha, the black-clothed Luo Feng was all smiles. There's indeed 1 million automaton puppets. They're all F9 grade puppets, and they're all in perfect condition. Before, he had captured about 530,000 automaton puppets. However, those were all damaged by the Golden Horned Beast attacks, and the ones within the World Ring were all in perfect condition. Luo Feng. A 1.5 tall young-looking Babada ran over. Babada. Luo Feng looked over. Babada was a living AI, hence he could easily control a mechanical body. Back then, the Yin Mo planet master Huyin Bo gave Babada a body using this method. However, using a metal body, this was a very normal method. It didn't help Babada much. The difficulty of a living AI's training and evolution was extremely high. Unless one could obtain an evolution heart and fuse it into a metal body, then allowing the living AI to enter, then the living AI would completely fuse with the metal body. Just like the soul with the body, the living AI would also have the most precious body, the evolution body. That way, after a 100% fusion with the body, the clarity of the universe laws would rise greatly, at least reaching the level of a normal human warrior. And those without an evolution body, like Babada, may be able to barely train and comprehend. However, even after 1 trillion years, they wouldn't be able to become undying. And with the evolution heart, only then would one have the right to become a true automaton warrior. 2. As the training progressed, the automaton warrior's body would constantly strengthen, and the flexibility, toughness, etc. would be perfect, almost like a real body. Hence, the evolution heart was very important. Unfortunately, the evolution heart, only the automaton race had it. This was the most important and core treasure of the mechanical race. Thus, the mechanical race had a very strict control over the evolution heart and forbade any member of the mechanical race from selling the evolution heart. This had long been integrated into the core of every member of the mechanical race. The mechanical race could produce a large number of evolution hearts and nurture many members of the mechanical race, but they definitely would not sell any evolution heart, no matter how high the price was. As a result, it was extremely difficult for humans, demons, and many other alien races to purchase an evolution heart, because the difficulty of obtaining one was too high, and the evolution heart was something only the automaton race had. So, every evolution heart had a price of over 10 billion mixed elements. This was pretty much the entire wealth of an emperor undying. This meant that, unless the artificial intelligence that accompanied them was a life and death brother or a super expert with a huge amount of wealth, no one would be willing to buy an evolution heart. For the time being, Babata did not dare to think about the heart of evolution. He had never had the heart of evolution. He would be satisfied if he could have a metal body. Luo Feng, don't force your way through those undamaged F9 level automatons. Babata shouted. The black-clothed Luo Feng lowered his head to look at Babata. Those mechanical puppets that are in good condition all have defensive measures. Once they are forcefully attacked, it will trigger the self-destruction sequence. Babata continued. Right now, that automaton expert is incomparably far away from us and is unable to control these mechanical golems. However, if we were to attack, it wouldn't be worth it to self-destruct. Black-clothed Luo Feng said. Of course there's a way to control them. It's just that my infiltration ability isn't enough. Babata smiled. Hence there's no need to forcefully attack them. Probe their insides and sell them. Like the virtual universe company, they have the ability to easily attack them. All we need to do is pay them a small fee. Luo Feng nodded. This infiltration was better left to the professionals. What? Inspection complete. Black-clothed Luo Feng looked at Babata. Babata nodded. Inspection complete. The entire damaged pyramid ship has many items within, a total of 4 types. First is the damaged pyramid ship itself. This is an F9 grade ship, coupled with an extremely high-level energy defense. In terms of energy defense, it's even higher level than the UNMO planet ship. It's a pity that it was already damaged in the earlier attack. The ship immediately split apart, causing its value to be mainly due to the large amounts of F9 grade metal. Its estimated value is only about 5 million mixed elements. Second is the G grade metal puppet. This G grade metal puppet, even though it's not a large one, it's still a G grade metal piece. It's much more useful than your ghost blade and shield. Its estimated value is about 20 million mixed elements. Third is the 530,000 automaton puppets with damaged energy cores and 1 million undamaged automaton puppets. The total value is about 800 million mixed elements. Fourth, and also the most valuable, are the expensive instruments in the core cabin. These instruments are all made of G and F grade metals. The energy processes are extremely complicated. Even I don't dare to carefully inspect them. However, just the metal used for those instruments alone is worth over 500 million. The technology and techniques within are even more complicated. The price is estimated to be very high. As for exactly how high, I can't be sure. Just these 4. The total value is definitely very high. It's at least much more than all the other spoils of war Luo Feng's over 1,000 years. Your spoils of war from over 1,000 years add up. I estimate it's only about 100 million mixed elements. It's far from this time. Luo Feng nodded and smiled. He didn't open for business for 3 years, but once he did, he would eat for 3 years. It was still very profitable to deal with these warriors with powerful backgrounds. He had only captured 1 to 9 ships, and his rewards were so huge. That automaton warrior's wealth indeed shocked Luo Feng. How much? Luo Feng pondered. I'll give you a suggestion. First, ask the virtual universe company for a price. Babata said. HM. Luo Feng nodded. Luo Feng first used the scanning device to scan the various items. The data was all recorded, and then he simulated it in the virtual universe. Virtual Universe Primal Region, Luo Feng's Villa. Respectable Your Majesty Luo Feng, it's an honor to meet you. To be able to receive your invitation, it really makes me, Nosi Wu, extremely happy. Dressed in a luxurious green long robe, a chubby head and a pair of dead fish eyes, Undying bowed humbly, expressing his respect to Luo Feng. Luo Feng was the direct disciple of the primal chaos city leader. His position was extremely high. Thank you. Luo Feng smiled. Look, Luo Feng pointed at the empty space beside. There was a damaged pyramid ship parked there. This was all simulated. This is? Nosiwu was curious. This is my spoils of war. I want to ask, as the head of the purchasing department, what price can you offer? Luo Feng asked. The virtual universe company naturally had a purchasing department. Normally, they would let the AIs handle the purchases. The higher-end ones would be handled by the internal members. Like Nosi Wu, he was one of the head managers of the purchasing department. He usually dealt with Emperor-level undyings. The ship is already damaged. I estimate it to be a few million mixed elements. Nosi Wu said casually. He often dealt with Emperor-level undyings. A few million mixed elements transaction didn't bother him at all. The real spoils of war are within the ship. Luo Feng smiled. Follow me. Nosi Wu was shocked. He was curious about this direct disciple of the primal chaos city leader. Following Luo Feng, he entered the damaged pyramid ship. This is an automaton ship. It should belong to an automaton of some status. Naswa looked at some of the decorations and styles in the spaceship and smiled as he judged. When he first saw the G-grade metal puppet, he nodded and praised. G-grade metal puppet. The metal itself is worth 20 million mixed element units. This is the one. 53 million automaton I've acquired, of which 530,000 are damaged and 1 million are intact. This is the damaged sample, and this is the intact sample. This is the most valuable equipment I've acquired. It can be used to set up extremely powerful equipment. It can even trap an Emperor-level absolute warrior. After looking at it, Nosi Wu was shocked. Even an Emperor-level undying had a net worth of over 1 billion mixed elements. It was rare for a transaction to reach 1 billion mixed elements. These automatons, the damage is very light. Only the energy cores have been shaken and cracked. They can't operate. The important parts are fine. 1. 53 million automatons. Even in the automaton race, they're considered the best of the F9 grade. It would probably cost at least a few hundred mixed elements. If it were us humans, the manufacturing cost would be higher than the automaton race. On average, each one would require 1,000 mixed elements. Hence, I can give you a price of 5 billion mixed elements. Of course, the most expensive is this batch of equipment. The materials used are expensive. Most importantly, many of the techniques used are already considered the pinnacle of the automaton race's technology. It would probably require a Universe Knight to spend a lot of effort to create it. To invite a Universe Knight level automaton master, the cost is extremely high. It's a pity it's only a part of it. This batch of equipment, I can give you a price of 3 billion mixed elements. Nosi Wu finally gave such a price to Luo Feng. Including those miscellaneous items, I can raise the price slightly. Rounding it up, I'll give you 6 billion mixed elements. Nosi Wu smiled. I wouldn't be so generous to normal Emperor-level undyings. For 6 billion mixed elements? Luo Feng was elated within. Thanks, I'll think about it. Luo Feng said. Haha, no rush. If you want to sell, look for me anytime. Nosi Wu smiled. Your Majesty Luo Feng's gains this time are huge. Especially that equipment. It's a Universe Knight, automaton master's hard work. If you can gather a complete set, the price will be much higher. Luo Feng nodded. Nosi Wu then left. Haha, the virtual universe company is willing to offer 6 billion mixed elements. Luo Feng smiled. My gains this time are huge. It's actually made by a Universe Knight level automaton master. That automaton warrior has quite a background. Your luck is not bad. Babata laughed, messing with a huge enemy. However, the benefits of that enemy are huge too. Fortune and misfortune come hand in hand. This is a blessing, not a misfortune. Luo Feng smiled. Right now I have to think through what channels to sell it and how to get a high price. P.S. Chapter 1. Chapter 826. How could he sell his spoils of war for as high a price as he could? I still have to rely on the internet. Within the study, Luo Feng sat at his desk, looking at the screen before him. Babata was using the internet to search for information on how to sell his spoils of war. As the information appeared, Luo Feng carefully read through it. Great Alliance? Luo Feng looked at the screen and frowned. According to the information, humanity's most expensive and rarest items are usually traded in the Great Alliance. Those expensive treasures, only the Great Alliance has a large number of absolute warriors that can give them a high price. That makes sense. However, I haven't been recruited by the Great Alliance yet. After thinking for a while, Luo Feng contacted his teacher, Tru Yin. Do. A golden-armored ape-man's silhouette suddenly appeared on the screen. It was Tru Yin. His gaze was like lightning as he looked at Luo Feng, laughing loudly. My precious disciple, why have you thought of contacting your teacher? Teacher, Luo Feng said respectfully. There's something I need to trouble you with. Speak. Tru Yin smiled. It's like this. Luo Feng swiftly said, I've acquired some valuable spoils of war from the foreign battlefields. However, I'm not willing to sell them directly to the Virtual Universe Company's purchasing department. I want to ask for your help to sell my spoils of war in the Great Alliance. Oh, Tru Yin raised his eyebrows. You want to send it to the Hong Alliance and sell it there? Luo Feng nodded. The Great Alliance is not simple. Tru Yin reminded. The Great Alliance is an alliance formed mainly by the human race and large amounts of other races. Only those with at least an Emperor-level undying have the right to become an official member of the Great Alliance. Even the servant and servant slots are fought over by the other races to send sector lords and undyings in. There are countless super experts gathered here, and it's common for them to trade treasures. Quite a few experts know of the name Tru Yin Monarch of your teacher. It's not impossible for me to help you sell your spoils of war. I only have one condition. It has to be a treasure. Otherwise, I won't be able to afford to lose face. Tru Yin said. What counts as a treasure? Luo Feng asked. At least 1 billion mixed elements and above. Tru Yin said, if it doesn't reach 1 billion mixed element units, don't embarrass me. Teacher, this is the detailed information of the loot I want to sell. I'll send it to you. Luo Feng immediately sent a mail over. These spoils of war. The Virtual Universe Company's purchasing department has set the price at 6 billion mixed elements. 6 billion? Tru Yin was shocked, staring wide-eyed at this disciple of his. The Virtual Universe Company's acquisition department's price is definitely extremely low. They can even offer 6 billion? My disciple, who exactly did you rob? You've earned the wealth of a normal titled emperor undying in an instant. Luo Feng smiled. Tru Yin too began to look through the detailed information Luo Feng sent over. TSK, a machine race grandmaster at the universe venerable level, made a precise special instrument. This thing is worth a lot. Tru Yin nodded repeatedly. My disciple, leave this matter to me. I will help you sell it for the highest price possible. Haha, I thought it was wise of you to accept a disciple. At the very least, your ability to earn treasures is greater than your third senior brother's. Luo Feng smiled mischievously. This matter will take half a day if it's quick, 3 to 5 days if it's slow. Just wait for my news. Pa. Tru Yin didn't say much, immediately closing the communication and going to help Luo Feng settle this matter. Actually selling such expensive treasures gave him a sense of accomplishment. Tru Yin had been in Primal Chaos City for countless years and indeed rarely sold treasures. This time, he happily went to the Great Alliance and used his connections to think of ways to sell them for a high price. Right now, he had two teachers. One was True Yin, and the other was the primal Chaos City leader. Luo Feng had interacted with True Yin for a long time. Along with True Yin's straightforward temperament, he didn't care about the small details. Hence, Luo Feng was very relaxed in front of True Yin. And against the primal Chaos City leader, Luo Feng felt a formless pressure. He was extremely respectful and didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Hence, for some matters, Luo Feng would rather ask his teacher True Yin than trouble the primal Chaos City leader. Unless it was a big matter, he wouldn't disturb the primal Chaos City leader. 3 to 5 days if it's slow? Luo Feng sat at his desk, gently tapping on the screen. Then I'll study the scanning device first. Why? On the page appeared the detailed data of the scanning device. SFRET 01 102983 model. Scanning radius of 1 billion kilometers. Requires 5 million points. The lowest discount is 50%. The highest discount is 10%. You can receive 40%. Detailed data can be viewed here. SFRET 02 102983 model. Scanning radius of 300 million kilometers. Requires 4 million points. The lowest discount is 50%. The highest discount is 10%. You can receive 40%. Detailed data can be viewed here. SDU 01 000001 model. Scanning radius of 1 billion kilometers. Requires 50 billion points. The lowest discount is 50%. The highest discount is 10%. The highest discount is 40%. Detailed data can be viewed here. SDU 02 000001 model. Scanning radius of 300 million kilometers. Requires 40 billion points. The lowest discount is 50%. The highest discount is 10%. The highest discount is 40%. Detailed data can be viewed here. A 111 192039 model. Scanning radius of 100 kilometers. Requires 1 million points. The lowest discount is 50%. The highest discount is 10%. The highest discount is 40%. Detailed data can be viewed here. A 112 192039 model. Scanning radius of 20 kilometers. Requires 800,000 points. The lowest discount is 50%. The highest discount is 10%. The highest discount is 40%. Detailed data can be viewed here. There were two main types of scanning devices. One was the super large range, usually with a radius of 100 million kilometers, 300 million kilometers, and 1 billion kilometers. The higher end ones, usually with a radius of 300 million kilometers and 1 billion kilometers. The other was the super small range, usually with a radius of 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers, and 100 kilometers. The higher end ones were even more common at 20 kilometers and 100 kilometers. The large scanning device was used to scan ships from far away, making it easier to set up. The small scanning device was usually used for exploring universe secret regions, where it was easier to scan within a small range. As the range was small, it allowed for higher level scanning. Luo Feng constantly flipped through the various information. There were many high-end scanning devices that even Primal Region members couldn't see. Even though Luo Feng could see them, he couldn't afford them. Looking at the astronomical prices of tens of billions and hundreds of billions of points, Luo Feng could only blink. Astronomical prices. Even if I get a 40% discount, I still can't afford it. Luo Feng pondered. What level of scanning device should I buy this time? 10 million points? Over 100 million? Billions? Back then in Primal Chaos City, Luo Feng didn't have any experience in buying a scanning device. He only looked at the information regarding the outer region battlefields before buying one. However, after spending over 1,000 years in the outer region battlefields and having suffered losses, Luo Feng was very clear on what he needed. I'm too stupid. There's no need to chase after a 1 billion kilometers radius. A large scanning range of 300 million kilometers is enough. At the same time, I have to buy a specialized small-scale scanning device. The large-scale scanning devices' small-scale scanning capabilities are very average. One big and one small scanning device. The large scanning device. There are two choices. One is 2 billion points. The next level is 6 billion points. The small scanning device, I'll have to spend more money too. Luo Feng pondered. I'll just have to see what price teacher can get for my spoils of war. Luo Feng had many things he wanted to buy now. The most important was the scanning device, followed by the cloud contact vine and other important items. However, they all required money. Ku Tua, young, dressed in black armor, with a pair of black wings on his back, Luo Feng was currently drinking with a green-armored, green-haired man, clinking glasses and drinking. Yang, how's your harvest? Ku Tua asked. Just average. You should know that the official level Undying have an undying body. Killing an official is extremely hard. Luo Feng raised his glass. Over 1,000 years, I've only killed about 100 official levels, and most of them were beginner levels. Very few of them were upper levels. And that's because I'm lucky. Accumulating points is simply too slow. With an undying body, it's very hard to kill. That green-haired man put down his glass angrily, shaking his head. I too have the strength of an emperor. Those official levels are obviously weaker than me, but I can't do anything to them. You've killed about 100 official levels in 1,000 years. That's not bad. Your efficiency is even higher than mine. Right. Which battlefield are you at? Yanji Continent, Luo Feng said. Yanji Continent? Ku Tua stared. You already have the strength of an emperor, and you're still at Yanji Continent? You can totally go to Star Tower. I'm at Star Tower. The 7th battlefield's most dangerous place? Luo Feng laughed. There were a few of the most dangerous places in the 7th battlefield. Amongst these terrifying places, the closest to Army Camp number 026 was Star Tower. Even though it's dangerous, it's also filled with opportunities. Ku Tua advised, when are we going together? Let's work together. Ku Tua, Ku Tua. 3 voices resounded. In the distance, 3 silhouettes walked over. The formless pressure they emitted was shocking. Even though this restaurant was huge, the other normal Undyings and official level Undyings all consciously distanced themselves from this region, because the ones chatting here were all the emperors. Huh. Ku Tua waved his hand and said to Luo Feng, those 3 are my comrades from Star Tower. I've roamed with them before. Let me introduce them to you. Luo Feng nodded. Come. Let me introduce you to my new friend, Yang. Ku Tua shouted to the other 3 emperors. In Army Camp number 026, Luo Feng quietly waited for his teacher's reply while making friends with the emperors. Finally, on the 3rd day after arriving at the camp, Tru Yin contacted Luo Feng. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Chapter 827. The morning was cold. Mist shrouded the entire lake. On an island in the lake, Luo Feng was lying in a warm pool, relaxing. At this time, Tru Yin contacted him. Hurry to my Thunder Island Palace. Yes, teacher. Virtual Universe, Thunder Island. Gathered here were countless Undyings from the Virtual Universe Company, within one of the halls of Tru Yan's palace. Your Majesty, the Lord and the others are here. The servant led Luo Feng outside the hall. Disciple, hurry in. Tru Yan's voice resounded from within the hall. Luo Feng immediately stepped in. With a glance, there were 3 warriors seated at a table. One was Tru Yin, the second was a winged, golden-eyed foreign race warrior, and the third was a tall silhouette that was completely black like ink, almost like it was made from black mud. Teacher, Luo Feng shouted respectfully after entering. Ha! Tru Yin laughed. Let me introduce you. These 2 are experts from the outsiders. This is the Lust Devil King, and this is the Blackheart King. Tru Yin pointed at the golden-eyed warrior and the black mud warrior and said, the 2 of them were all smiles, of which the golden-eyed Desire Demon Emperor laughed. This is your disciple, Tru Yin, and also the direct disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader. Tru Yin, you don't have to introduce your disciple. He's very famous. The expert that seemed to be formed from black mud also nodded slightly. Disciple, sit. Tru Yin pointed at a chair. Yes. Luo Feng sat. I've already discussed everything for you. True, Yin explained, the G-grade automaton and the 1.53 million automatons will all be given to Desire Demon Emperor. As for the equipment, it will be given to Blackheart Emperor. The price has also been settled. Desire Demon Emperor is willing to pay 1.8 billion mixed elements. Blackheart Emperor is willing to pay 4.3 billion mixed elements. Luo Feng nodded within as he heard. Like the automatons, these warriors all had their own channels to purchase them. The Virtual Universe Company was willing to buy them for 1.5 billion, but they usually sold them for about 2 billion. Therefore, the bid of 1.8 billion was considered the highest bid because mechanical puppets were commonly seen. A portion of the 9 Extremes Divinations apparatus was a rare item, extremely rare. To those who did not like to manufacture mechanical weapons, it was not very valuable. However, to those who liked mechanical items, it was a true treasure. They could completely study this apparatus in detail and study the manufacturing methods of the machine race's venerable universe. Luo Feng, the Black Clay Warrior Blackheart Emperor, said, "What other information do you know about this machine?" This is one of the instruments used to set up the 9 Ultimate Divine Kingdom. Luo Feng immediately explained, the moment the 9 Extreme God Country is set up, even an Emperor Pinnacle Warrior would be trapped, and with that special automaton puppet, it can unleash all sorts of attacks. It's truly powerful. Yes, the Blackheart King's eyes lit up, and he nodded with a smile. Entanglement? Trap mode? Let's trade immediately. All right, Luo Feng nodded. Luo Feng, Blackheart Emperor, and Desire Demon Emperor discussed for a while, swiftly confirming the transaction method with the Virtual Universe Company as the intermediary. The Virtual Universe Company would be responsible for the delivery and confirmation of the goods. This intermediary business, the highest fee was 1,000 mixed dollars, the lowest was 1 mixed dollar. Luo Feng's business deal, as Blackheart Emperor and Desire Demon Emperor were both outside the human domain, hence both deals were 100 mixed dollars. To Luo Feng, who was about to earn 1 billion mixed dollars, this was indeed a small amount, not worth mentioning. After the deal was done, that Blackheart Emperor and Desire Demon Emperor had the intention of befriending the direct disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader. After all, both of their races were vassal races of humanity. For these vassal warriors, even if they were human soldiers, they would still use the mixed element currency. Humans had too much influence on their races, hence the Primal Chaos City leader's level of existence required the vassal races to look up to him and respect him. To be able to befriend Luo Feng, they were very happy. The banquet was set up, they ate and chatted. In the middle of the banquet, a team from the Virtual Universe Company went to Luo Feng's place to collect the goods. Goods confirmed. Blackheart Emperor and Desire Demon Emperor naturally paid Luo Feng's account too. After the banquet, Desire Demon Emperor, who was discussing a trip to a universe secret region, suddenly stood up. "What's up?" Blackheart Emperor and True Yin Emperor looked shocked at him. Luo Feng was curious too. There's a Blood River crystal auction in the Great Alliance. The auction is about to begin. Desire Demon Emperor said solemnly, his eyes filled with suppressed excitement. Blood River crystal auction? Blackheart Emperor and True Yin Emperor were shocked too. Let's see if I can get my hands on the crystals this time. Desire Demon Emperor's eyes were filled with desire, after which he smiled. True Yin, you've already reached the limits of an emperor, comparable to a normal universe knight. Blood River crystals, don't fight with me for them. Blood River crystals are effective even to a universe knight. Who says I shouldn't fight for them? True Yin mocked. I'll fight for them. Anyway, there's plenty to fight for. Desire Demon Emperor shook his head. Let's go participate in the auction. You two go first. True Yin said. Luo Feng will leave first. Desire Demon Emperor and Blackheart Emperor said to Luo Feng and hurriedly left, vanishing into thin air within the palace. Only True Yin and Luo Feng were left in the palace. Teacher, what's with the Blood River crystal auction? I remember Blood River crystals are forbidden items, forbidden for being sold, etc. Luo Feng asked. All right, you've been to Blood River Continent before. True Yin smiled and nodded. You have to remember one thing. Any so-called forbidden items are all relative. No matter how precious a treasure is, it might be a forbidden item to sector lords. But to undying beings, it can be traded. If it's forbidden to an undying, however to a universe knight, even if it isn't, it depends on who it is. Luo Feng could only nod. Right? That was indeed the case. The Great Alliance is a human alliance with many races. Of course, there would be many precious items. True Yin said. Then the Blood River crystals? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. Absorbing the crystals was extremely difficult. A normal human absorbing 10 crystals was already an unbelievable thing. Then what was the point of auctioning them? Why would even the Universe Knights fight for the crystals? Luo Feng asked. To absorb the crystals is very difficult. Of course it's difficult. At Sector Lord level, one's body and genes are developed to the extreme. For a human warrior to be able to absorb 10 crystals at once is already unbelievable. True Yin laughed loudly. However, the Blood River crystals, those are crystals formed from the essence of the fallen beast god. That's the crystallization of the beast god's blood. The beast god, that's a being comparable to the universe lord. And as a naturally born, powerful life form of the universe, the embodiment of the space and gold laws, the wonders of the Blood River crystal. How could there only be one way to absorb it? Luo Feng was stunned as he listened. So it was like that, the fall of the beast god, the blood of the beast god? The Blood River crystal has many uses. Even to the knights of the universe, they are of great benefit. True Yin shook his head. However, the upper echelons of humanity have very tight restrictions on the crystals and other important treasures. They usually give priority to the absolute warriors. Hence, occasionally there would be a small amount of Blood River crystals leaked out. These Blood River crystals, to any flesh and blood life form, they are treasures. Every 100 crystals are used as a unit, because 100 crystals can produce 1 drop of beast god blood. True Yin said. However, I've reached the pinnacle of emperor level, and what I lack now is origin law comprehension. External treasures are useless, hence I won't fight for it. True Yin smiled. When I become a knight, I'll probably have to fight for it too. Haha, the Blood River crystal auction has always attracted many warriors. I'll go join the fun. You can go back. Luo Feng replied. Yes, teacher. Shua. True Yin vanished from the hall. Blood River crystal? 100 Blood River crystals can refine a drop of beast god blood? Luo Feng muttered. To any flesh and blood life form, it's a treasure. Even the knights fight for it. How sinister. Back then, the Virtual Universe Company quoted a price of 600 points for each crystal to us universe-level punks. Luo Feng couldn't help but reveal a weird smile, shaking his head. Right, if it's just the universe-level punks, there's no need to pay such a high price. And to the Virtual Universe Company, the chance for the universe-level punks to acquire the crystals was given by them, hence the price was reasonable. However, how would those punks know that the Blood River crystal is an incomparably important treasure to the emperors and knights? So, Luo Feng too vanished from thin air. 100 Blood River crystals only required 1 drop of beast god blood, and normal universe-level geniuses would find it hard to even acquire a few crystals in Blood River world. Someone like Luo Feng, who looked like a universe level, yet had a domain lord level body, and one that was proficient in stealth and assassination, a Masha clansman body. It was too rare. And back then, Luo Feng relied on the Masha clansmen to steal close to 10,000 crystals. Back then, when he was buying them for 600 points, Luo Feng suppressed his desire to exchange for large amounts of points. He firmly believed that the crystals were treasures. He couldn't just sell them like that. Back then, I never thought that the use of the Blood River crystal would be this great. Luo Feng walked out of the pool. Water droplets rolled off his body, and the cold air outside assaulted him. However, it made him feel refreshed. Luo Feng casually lay on a chair beside. The more he thought about it, the happier he got. Smart. He really was smart to keep all the crystals. Now, he had really earned big, right? Back then, when my Earth body was at universe level, I only absorbed 3 crystals. Right now, I'm already Sector Lord Pinnacle, and I've also trained the Nameless Manual. My genes have evolved. Luo Feng thought, it's time to try absorbing the crystals again. All these years, he had never tried it. It was because absorbing 3 crystals back then was too difficult. Even the Black Warrior in the history of Blood River Continent was a legend. He probably couldn't even absorb 10 crystals. If he couldn't absorb 10 crystals, the increase in his strength would be extremely limited. Hence, he didn't try it. Just like that, a few thousand years had passed. It's time to try. Luo Feng couldn't help but get up and walk into his study to prepare to absorb the crystals. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. The secret of the Blood River crystal has finally been revealed. Wow. Chapter 828. Within the study, Luo Feng sat cross-legged. Every time I absorb one, the difficulty increases by 10 times. However, my body's genes are much stronger than back then. I wonder how many I can absorb. Luo Feng didn't have the confidence to absorb 10 crystals, because in Blood River Continent, the Black Warrior had long become a legend. From the absorption back then, his genes could only be considered above average. Even with the Nameless Manual, he was only at the first level. To rely on this to become a Black Warrior was very difficult. Begin. Luo Feng flipped his hand, and a Blood River crystal appeared. The Blood River crystal was a triangular-shaped, long crystal. It was completely blood red and slightly translucent. It emitted a formless ripple, almost like a heart beating. The ripple constantly transmitted. Back then, when I first saw the crystal, I felt like it had life. Only now do I know that it's actually the blood crystal of a fallen beast god. Luo Feng gently sliced his palm, causing a cut to appear. Fresh blood seeped out, and the crystal immediately touched his blood. The killing aura invasion and body modification. Luo Feng was already familiar with this. To someone who had absorbed the 100th crystal before, this little bit of pain was nothing. After a while, after finishing the 4th, Luo Feng was very calm. He had expected that he would have to absorb another 5 or 6. I wonder how many I can absorb. Luo Feng flipped his hand and took out the 5th, the 6th, the 7th. The 7th was a success. Luo Feng's face was covered in sweat from the pain. However, his eyes gleamed, filled with excitement. I actually succeeded in absorbing the 7th. Back then on Blood River World, that blood god Baki was an absolute genius that only appeared once in countless years. Even he only absorbed 8 crystals. My body's genes aren't that outstanding. Could it be that after training the first level of the Nameless Manual, I've undergone a complete transformation? Continue with the 8th. Luo Feng flipped his hand and took out another crystal. Absorb. Another success. I've caught up to Baki. Luo Feng blinked. Let's try the 9th. Luo Feng couldn't help but feel a sense of desire. Who knows, he might really become a Black Warrior. As he absorbed the 9th crystal, the killing aura invasion was easily blocked. As the Blood River energy entered his body, Luo Feng's muscles and skin began to tear. Kacha! His bones broke, following which the Blood River energy returned to the 9th crystal. The 9th absorption failed. To be able to absorb 8 has already exceeded my expectations. My genes are only those of an Earth human. The only special thing is that I've trained in the first level of the Nameless Manual. This actually makes me comparable to the absolute genius of Blood River World, Blood God Baki. Luo Feng was shocked within. The Nameless Manual was indeed unbelievable. In fact, when one's gene reached its limit, it would be very difficult to improve it further. The first level of the Nameless Secret Manual could increase one's overall combat strength by 3 times. How shocking was the evolution of the gene to have such a powerful effect. Absorbing 8 of them has very little effect on one's battle strength. Luo Feng shook his head. Fusing 3, 10, and 100 of them all had their limits. When he fused with 3 of them, His compatibility with the universe origin source doubled, reaching twice as high as before. After fusing with 10 of them, the compatibility with the origin source of the universe was 3 times that of the original state. And when he activated the blood river power, even the genes of his body would undergo a short period of transformation, and his strength would soar. And now, he had only fused 8 of them. Compared to when he had fused 3, his overall strength had only increased by 30 to 40%. Luo Feng was drenched in sweat as he walked out of the study. He walked barefooted on the ground, and with a splash, he jumped into the pool and lay comfortably on the slippery rock at the side of the pool. To be able to absorb 8 crystals, Luo Feng was still rather satisfied. Even though the increase in strength was limited, at least it meant that the Nameless Manual was indeed powerful. If I can get the 2nd level of the Nameless Manual, allowing my body to undergo another huge change, I might be able to absorb 10 crystals. Luo Feng shook his head helplessly. Such a heavenly technique, to be able to get the 1st level was already a huge fortune. How hard would it be to get the 2nd level? Since my earth body can't absorb it, I'll let the golden horned beast try and continue absorbing the crystals. Luo Feng laid on the rock, allowing the warm water to ripple. At the same time, he let the golden horned beast begin absorbing the crystals within his internal world. Luo Feng didn't have much expectations for the golden horned beast to absorb the crystals. This was because his right claw had already reached a saturated state after absorbing 100 crystals. One must know that Luo Feng's willpower had long been able to resist the invasion of the 101 crystals. However, his right claw couldn't absorb any more blood river energy. And the moment it was activated, the beast godhead roared. It was already a very perfect image. The right claw had reached its limit. Then to absorb, he could only let the other parts of his body do it. However, no matter how strong his willpower was, even if he could absorb another 100 crystals, he would at most let the other parts have the same strength as his right claw. Even so, the golden horned beast's overall strength would only double from before. And this was under the situation of absorbing another 100 crystals. One must know that absorbing each crystal was much harder than before. Luo Feng didn't even dare to think that. 101 crystals, 102 crystals. The internal world began to absorb the golden horned beast. This time, he chose to absorb its back. Because the back was the core of the body's strength, and the wings were on its back too. If the back was strong enough, it would be easier to control the Wu Slayer wings and withstand the load. I've just absorbed the crystals on my back, so the changes to the genes on my back are starting from 0. The pain is still very weak. Luo Feng revealed a smile as he lay in the pool. He absorbed the crystals one by one. 110 crystals, 120 crystals, 130 crystals. The killing ore invasion was getting stronger and stronger. However, back when he absorbed the 100 crystals, he had only lived for a few hundred years. And now, after a few thousand years, his long years of comprehension, getting close to the universe origin laws, had indeed nurtured his consciousness, causing his willpower to change. And over the long years, Luo Feng had comprehended even more mysteries. Even though his mental state was still at the 1st level, his willpower was much stronger. A higher level didn't necessarily mean a lower level was stronger. The 2nd level, Heart of a Newborn, was usually much stronger than the 1st level, Clarity of Mind. However, Luo Feng's extreme path of constantly strengthening himself, his willpower was at least much stronger than Thunder God back when he was less than 100 years old and comprehended the 2nd level. 140 crystals, 150 crystals, 160 crystals, 162 crystals, 163 crystals, 164 crystals, 165 crystals. The 166th crystal has failed. My willpower can't take it anymore. In the pool, Luo Feng revealed a smile. To be able to absorb 165 crystals is already not bad. The further I go, the harder it gets. My willpower has improved quite a bit over these few thousand years. Even though he had absorbed 65 crystals on his back, the golden horned beast's overall strength had only risen by about 10%. As the increase in the strength of the back was only a small portion of the golden horned beast's strength, far from its right claw. Hence the increase in strength was limited. Luo Feng's fourth day in the army base. Rumble. 3 silhouettes flew above the mountain lake, very quickly reaching the edge of Luo Feng's private island. Haha, you finally arrived. Luo Feng walked out with big steps. Sir, these are the goods you ordered. They're all here. The leader of the three was an undying, respectfully handing over a world ring. This world ring is also a gift for you, sir. The world ring flew towards Luo Feng and floated before him. Luo Feng was obviously excited as he received it. He had fought so hard for so long and spent so much effort, all for these goods. He had spent all of his 1 billion mixed elements to purchase the items in this ring. With such a huge transaction, it was very normal for him to give away a world ring that was only worth about 1 mixed element. We won't disturb you any further. Go! Luo Feng waved his hand, after which he couldn't help but turn and return to his quarters. The 3 service workers from the virtual universe company didn't even step foot on the island. As this was a private island, the army had rules. Without Luo Feng's permission, other life forms were forbidden from entering. I've finally arrived. I've spent all 1 billion. Luo Feng sat in a chair beside the pool, immediately letting the Masha clansmen begin to inspect the goods. Back when he traded with Blackheart Emperor and Desired Demon Emperor, he got 1 billion mixed elements. Luo Feng then exchanged them for 1 billion points. Under normal circumstances, one had to become an undying to have the authority to exchange points. However, ever since Luo Feng became the direct disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader, his authority was extremely high, even higher than many emperors. Naturally, he had the authority to exchange for points. Exchanging for 1 billion points, along with the remaining 180 million for back then, Luo Feng began to spend. 1. He bought 2 scanning devices. The large scanning device cost 2 billion points. Only a few emperors were willing to spend so much. The mini scanning device cost 8 billion points. Even though it only scanned a 20 kilometers area, the price wasn't much different. As the scanning area was small, its precision was comparable to those large scanning devices that cost hundreds of billions of points. This also meant, with this mini scanning device, as long as an absolute warrior scanned Luo Feng, even if the large scanning device couldn't detect him, the mini scanning device would know beforehand. 2. He bought the best materials needed to nurture the cloud contact vine to become undying, spending a total of 53 billion points. Of course, with this, the cloud contact vine's chances of becoming undying was only 50%. 3. He bought a fire god origin crystal, comparable to an emperor-level warrior's self-destruction. It was enough to kill an emperor-level warrior and heavily injure an emperor pinnacle warrior, spending 800 million points. Back when Luo Feng had 3 billion points in Primal Chaos City, he used it to exchange for the fire god origin crystal. Back then, he exchanged for 2 fire god origin crystals comparable to a low-level emperor's self-destruction, spending 400 million points. However, he never got the chance to use it. The 3 added together, he spent a total of 13 billion points, leaving Luo Feng with only 150 million points. Luo Feng couldn't take it anymore. To let the cloud contact vine evolve to an undying, the process requires quite a bit of time. I'll let it evolve on the way back. I'll leave now, back to the Sacrifice Flame continent. After bidding farewell to the emperors and undyings that he had befriended in the past few days, Luo Feng sat in a universe ship and left Base 026 alone on his way back. Update complete. Tomorrow was a rest day, Saturday. However, Tomato was late updating twice. Hence, there would be an update tomorrow. 50% chance of evolution. Everyone, do you think the Cloud Contact Vine can become undying? Chapter 829. This was a Frisbee-shaped E9 grade universe ship from the closest shuttle point outside the barracks. It entered the Dark Universe. Within the Dark Universe, The ship is moving at light speed in the dark universe. Estimated time of arrival is 122 hours. Babata's voice resounded within the control room. Slightly increase the speed. Luo Feng ordered. I guarantee we'll reach the shuttle point in 3.5 days. Yes. The ship slightly increased its speed and maintained a constant speed as it continued to move forward. Luo Feng closed his eyes and said softly, according to the plan, the Cloud Contact Vine's complete evolution process requires 3 days. I hope it succeeds. Within the internal world, in a vast plain in the central continent, there was an extremely luxuriant vine leaf covering an area of 10,000 kilometers. This was the complete form of the Cloud Contact Vine. Cloud Contact Vine. Black-clothed Luo Feng descended from midair. Howl! A small vine branch, however, was 10 thick and a few km long, immediately flew up and grabbed the black-clothed Luo Feng. Hua Hua, the surrounding large amounts of leaves immediately parted, creating an empty space for Luo Feng. Cloud Contact Vine, be good. Black-clothed Luo Feng caressed the small vine, smiling. Give way to a diameter of about 1,000 kilometers. Countless leaves swiftly retracted. Luo Feng's surroundings swiftly became empty. The Cloud Contact Vine covered an area of 10,000 kilometers in the center. Immediately, a 1,000 kilometers diameter empty space appeared. Enough. Black-clothed Luo Feng flipped his hand. 7 glaring red fruits floated in midair. First step. Luo Feng became serious. Cloud Contact Vine, swallow them. Luo Feng ordered. Rumble. The 7 main vines slashed through the air, directly swallowing the 7 watermelon-sized fruits that glowed with a bright red light. As soon as they were swallowed, the Cloud Scraper Vine's entire body began to glow with a red light, turning it bright red in an instant. All of the vines began to writhe in pain. Pain. The Cloud Contact Vine communicated. Bear with it. Black-clothed Luo Feng flipped his hand. A huge stone basin suddenly appeared in mid-air. Within it was a jade-green liquid that looked like water. Swallow it. Luo Feng ordered. Time passed in an instant. All sorts of precious materials were devoured by the Cloud Scraper Vine. According to the detailed steps, this process alone took about 2 days. The amount of materials consumed was probably half the size of the Cloud Scraper Vine. One could only imagine the amount of materials consumed. 53 billion points was a huge fortune. The last step. These 18 materials, swallow them at the same time. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with madness as he ordered. A series of seemingly ordinary vines emitting a terrifying aura wrapped around the materials in a frenzy. In the blink of an eye, they had completely devoured the materials. Cloud Scraping. Now it's up to you, whether you'll become an undying in 1 step, or if you'll lose everything. It all depends on this. The black-clothed Luo Feng stared hard at the Cloud Contact Vines around him. The vine that had just finished devouring was very calm. However, after which, there was the sound of firecrackers going off. The tens of thousands of kilometers of the Cloud Scraper vines instantly glowed with a dazzling light. At the same time, the vines began to split apart, and countless fragments left the Cloud Scraper vine's body. The main vine used its regenerative abilities to quickly grow back. Split. Regeneration. The old split disappeared and a new one was born. The entire Cloud Scraper Vine seemed to have undergone a complete transformation within a few seconds from the inside out. Transformation after transformation. The Cloud Scraper Vine continued to evolve. This efficiency was insane and shocking. As time passed, Luo Feng, who was already high in the sky, looked down at the twisting and struggling vine that was constantly regenerating its body. He couldn't help but think, hold on. I have to hold on. I have to continue. The moment it breaks and stops, the evolution will fail. A whole hour passed. Within a few seconds, the Cloud Scraper Vine would completely change its body. This evolution lasted for an hour. An hour later, the Cloud Scraper Vine that had already become completely golden, the special energy within its body seemed to have finally found an opportunity to explode fiercely. The dazzling golden cloud scraper vine that was originally in an excited state, suddenly every single vine leaf exploded with that special energy from deep within. The energy immediately exploded. The golden cloud scraper vine was immediately frozen. A layer of ice formed on the surface of the vine leaves. Like a huge ice sculpture, the cloud scraper vine didn't move at all, almost as though it was dead. Only a very weak energy ripple could be felt, showing that the cloud scraper vine was still undergoing some very subtle changes. Black-clothed Luo Feng felt the surrounding space freeze with a terrifying chill, exclaiming softly, "It's so cold. I don't know who researched and perfected the cloud scraper vine's evolution plan. Just the various steps are already very complicated. It's probably some powerful chemist in history, or the successive generations of chemists that constantly perfected it." Looking at the evolution process, it seemed very much like a chemist's methods. The last day, cloud contact. Black-clothed Luo Feng looked at the ice sculpture of the cloud scraper vine. Whether I can hold on until the last moment and successfully evolve and become undying or fail, it's this last day I have to hold on until the end. Getting through this one day of freezing should be the most dangerous step in the evolution process. Time passed second by second. Every second, the cloud scraper vine underwent minute changes, causing Luo Feng to hold his breath as he watched, afraid that the cloud scraper vine would collapse. "Hold on. I have to hold on." Black-clothed Luo Feng muttered. Every second felt so long, almost as though hundreds or thousands of years had passed. After being sealed in ice for an entire day, the cloud scraper vine had finally reached its limit. The ice crystals on its body instantly melted. At the same time, the entire cloud scraper vine shot up into the sky. The 216 main vines and the countless vines and leaves spread out in all directions, twisting and dancing. Rumble. A strange tremor that shook one's soul was produced. The last moment. The last moment. Whether or not I can connect with the universe origin energy, it all depends on this last moment. Black-clothed Luo Feng stared hard in midair, clenching his fists tightly. Even though back then he had the experience of nurturing the 100 vine star eating grass, compared to this cloud scraper vine, the difference was simply too huge. The success rate of the 100 vine star eating grass was much higher. However, the cloud scraper vine only had a 50% success rate. However, the materials required were much more expensive. The cloud scraper vine was already at the last step. Wong. A formless pressure descended. The black-clothed Luo Feng, who was originally in mid-air, because of this pressure, immediately fell to the plains below, kneeling. The pressure of the universe origin energy. Black-clothed Luo Feng revealed a look of glee. "I've succeeded." His consciousness connected with the universe origin energy. The origin laws descended. At this moment, breaking through the shackles of life, from then on, becoming undying. Rumble, endless amounts of undying energy infused with the wood origin laws poured into the cloud contact vine's body. The golden vine began to madly absorb the undying energy. This was the one and only chance to break through to undying. It had unlimited amounts of energy from the universe origin energy. And after the cloud contact vine's own world energy merged with the complete origin laws, it too became a wood element undying energy. Energy transformation. Body transformation. The vine's life imprint swiftly merged with every bit of undying energy. From then on, these undying energies were no longer ownerless. They were all imprinted with the vine's life imprint. Even if the body were to shatter, the undying energy would still belong to the vine. It could completely reform. Merging with every bit of energy, every cell of the undying body, deep within, imprinting all of it with the life imprint. As long as there's a shred, I'll be able to revive. It's the undying body. In the distance, black-clothed Luo Feng muttered softly, his eyes filled with excitement. The universe origin energy slowly dissipated, and the huge crystal-like cloud contact vine that covered an area of 100,000 kilometers, constantly changing colors, gold, silver, purple, black, green, blue. The colors changed. The huge pressure of the god body gradually receded. However, it still made one's heart tremble. Everything was calm. So, the cloud contact vine swiftly shrunk, becoming a few meters tall crystal vine. Black-clothed Luo Feng flew over and landed beside the vine, gently caressing it, smiling, "Congratulations, cloud contact vine." "Thank you, master." The vine's gentle voice resounded. "When are you preparing to build the god country?" Luo Feng asked. "Since the god country has already been built on the food planet, master can also use the god country to teleport at any time. I'm not in a rush. When master has enough time, I'll find another place for my internal world to merge with a space shard and become a god country." The vine's consciousness communicated with Luo Feng, speaking gently and clearly. Luo Feng was overjoyed within. Honestly, the cloud contact vine had followed him from Earth, roaming for so long, going through danger after danger. It had always fought for him. In terms of feelings, the vine that had grown up with him was like a good brother. Towards the cloud contact vine, he naturally had more feelings than the star-eater grass. Back when the star-eater grass became undying, Luo Feng felt more of a joy of having a strong assistant. And now, he felt even more of a good friend becoming undying, feeling happy for his brother and good friend. "No problem. It's not like we're short on time. After universe travel, we'll find a safe place and teleport through the god country. We'll let you choose a suitable location for your god country," Luo Feng said. "Thank you, master." The vine's voice was still gentle. Luo Feng was even happier now. Back when his teacher nurtured the cloud contact vine, it had 108 vines. After reaching undying, it was equivalent to an official level beginner. And Luo Feng's vine had 216 vines. After reaching undying, it was equivalent to an official level pinnacle. And because of its toughness and strength, even though it was only an official level pinnacle, its body strength could compare to an emperor level beginner. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Chapter 830. After flying in the dark universe for 3.5 days, the flying disc-shaped universe ship finally passed through the universe and arrived at the closest travel point to the Yenji continent. In the control room, the cloud contact battle armor fused with his skin. Luo Feng, who was wearing black armor, had a pair of black wings on his back. He was looking at the void outside, as if he could see the distant Yenji continent through the infinite space. It makes people feel excited. Fortunately, that cultivator is still on the Yenji continent, Luo Feng said softly. He could clearly feel the incomparably strong calling. It was far stronger than the soldier armor and general armor's call to him. Every cell in his body was clearly locked onto the location of the calling. It was in the sacrifice Yin continent. Clearly, the cultivator with the treasure was still on the Yenji continent. "As long as you're here, very soon I will find you," Luo Feng thought. "Babata, find a secluded area nearby," Luo Feng ordered. Understood. The universe ship flew swiftly. The seventh battlefield of the alien battlefield was split into many battle zones, and the areas outside the battle zones had much less experts. Hence, after flying for over a day, the universe ship found an extremely secluded place. The cabin door opened. The black-armored Luo Feng stepped out of the cabin door alone, floating in mid-air, casually keeping the universe ship into his world ring. Whoosh! Transforming into a black beam of light, he landed on an asteroid and drilled into the interior of the asteroid. The cave inside had traces of being drilled through. However, based on Luo Feng's aura, it should have been something that happened a long time ago. Scanning with the mini detector. No life has been here for at least 100,000 years. Yes. Luo Feng nodded, looking at the meteorite. Very good. This meteorite has a diameter of around 10 kilometers. The material is no worse than the broken stars in the broken star belt. Anyway, it's just a temporary coordinate point. It's enough. Food star, give me a leaf, Luo Feng ordered. A star-eater grass flew out from his shoulder. A leaf floated down and landed in Luo Feng's palm. This leaf was after all formed from his undying energy it was considered an undying's body. If he used a scanning device, it would be easy to detect the energy reaction. Luo Feng flipped his hand and took out a space ring, keeping the leaf in it, after which he threw the space ring into a crevice within meteorite. The coordinates token has been settled. Luo Feng smiled. Food planet, God country teleportation. Luo Feng ordered. The star eating grass beside started to light up, emitting a dazzling light. The blurry light enveloped the surroundings, including Luo Feng. Buzz. Enveloped in the light, Luo Feng could vaguely see a godly mountain in the distance. Xiao. Luo Feng and the star eater grass immediately followed the light tunnel and entered the god country. He arrived at star eater grass's divine kingdom, then teleported to the human domain. There was a huge difference between divine kingdom teleportation and teleportation. Teleportation could be used directly in battle, but divine kingdom teleportation could not. Divine kingdom teleportation required 2 points to form a spatial tunnel, and the process had to be stable. Once in battle, the spatial tunnel would collapse, making it impossible to teleport successfully. So, even though they had the god country teleportation, during intense battles, not a single undying could use it. Back when Luo Feng was on his way to the Wu Long starfield, he had left behind tokens of star-eating grass at many points. It was for the sake of being able to teleport to the divine kingdom in the future. Inside the satellite of a barren mineral planet, in an underground cave, a golden light shone. A black-armored Luo Feng appeared in midair. I've arrived. Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings. The black cave had no signs of life, and the gravity was only 1/10 of Earth's, and there was no gas at all. I've already entered the human domain. I need to find a secluded place for Mo Yun to build his god country. So, Luo Feng immediately flashed and darted out of the satellite, almost instantly flying 1,000,000 km in space. After which, he used his speed to reach light speed, and his body passed through, entering the dark universe. Normal undyings could do it with their bodies. Luo Feng could too. Mo Yun, how is this place? There isn't a single life planet within 100,000 light years. Luo Feng floated in space. Master, let's do it here. A 2 m tall cloud contact vine was beside Luo Feng. All right. Luo Feng waved his palm, and with a casual slash, it exceeded a normal sector Lord Pinnacle by 100 to 1,000 times. Sela. A space crack appeared, and Luo Feng stepped in, entering the space layer with the cloud contact vine. Within the space layer, there are endless space shards. Luo Feng, however, stood in space. Divine kingdoms were built in the interlayers of space. The first factor in choosing a divine kingdom was that it had to be remote. It definitely couldn't be a place where powerhouses often fought. Battles between powerhouses would tear through space, and if they fought in the interlayers of space, it was possible to accidentally discover a divine kingdom. And the universe was incomparably vast. There were many secluded places. The second requirement was to consider the god country teleportation. He had to save money. For example, if one frequently roamed within the Ganwu universe country, then the god country could be built within the Ganwu universe country. That way, the god country teleportation, etc., would be closer and consume less energy. However, to Luo Feng, he really didn't have to care about these problems. And Luo Feng couldn't always roam within a single universe country. The space layer, it said, it's split into thousands to tens of thousands of levels. The first level is the space shards. The second level is the god country level. The third level is the space flood level. Luo Feng thought. The space layer was a terrifying place, like the space shard level. It was the closest to the primal universe space. Its threat was very small. A few sector lord warriors could resist the space shards, and the god country level was considered more stable. Undyings could normally survive there. The space shards that were much larger, some of them had a diameter of 10 million kilometers, up to 100 million kilometers, etc. Outside the god country level, the so-called space flood level, even powerful undyings could fall. The further one went, the greater the threat. It feels like swimming in the ocean. The water near the shore is very shallow. The threat is very small. The further one is from the shore, the bigger the threat, the deeper the ocean is, the waves are even more turbulent. Any expert swimmer would die. Luo Feng muttered, the space layer is the same. The further one goes, the more dangerous it is. So, Luo Feng swiftly flew towards the depths of the space shard. With this flight, he flew hundreds of billions of km, spending over 10 days of time. I've flown far enough. The space shard is big enough. Luo Feng nodded. Mo Yun, how's this place? It's very good, master. In the distance, huge space shards flew about. These huge shards were filled with empty space. There was no life within. Master, I've begun to build the God Country. Beside Luo Feng floated a crystal cloud contact vine. Immediately, a formless energy locked onto a distant space fragment with a diameter of 30 million kilometers. One could vaguely see a world. This world seemed to exist in another dimension, and it slowly flew towards the space fragment. The shard was affected. It too slowly flew over. One was real, one illusory. They got closer. One with a diameter of less than 100,000 kilometers, the other 30 million kilometers. Rumble, almost as though the land and skies were clashing. The two continued to merge. Gradually, the illusory space shard within began to form a world. The world gradually solidified. In an instant, it completely appeared. Rumble. Merge complete. Since then, the internal world had completely vanished, and the God Country was formed. Master, the God Country has been formed. In the following years, the God Country will constantly expand, even swallowing other shards to continue growing. The cloud contact vine brought Luo Feng, easily entering the God Country. The God Country's diameter was less than 100,000 kilometers. It was expanding into the void world in all directions. Luo Feng stood on a mountain range, looking at the distant, expanding God Country, and looking up at the huge space shards within. He couldn't help but say, I wonder when I'll become undying. Master, your comprehension of the origin laws is very high. As long as you're willing, you'll be able to quickly comprehend the entire gold law. With your ability, breaking through the core probably wouldn't be hard. The cloud contact vine communicated mentally. However, the moment you become undying, you won't be able to nurture the third body, right? Hence, I don't dare train the gold laws now. Luo Feng shook his head and smiled. The gold laws were indeed easy for Luo Feng. He didn't dare train them now. He didn't dare gamble. The third body. Luo Feng had high hopes. He already had the saw beast fur. However, Luo Feng wasn't satisfied just like that. He could go through the virtual universe company's treasure trove in exchange for some rare life form's fur and scales. However, Luo Feng was still waiting, because this third body was his last one. He definitely had to pick the best one. The seventh battlefield of the alien battlefield. In a remote and quiet part of the starry sky, inside a meteorite, a glaring gold light flashed. Following the space passage, a black armored silhouette appeared. It was Luo Feng, who had left over a month ago. This time he spent most of his time entering the God Country level, and then spent his energy slowly flying back to the original universe space. Actually, there wasn't a need for Luo Feng to personally enter the God Country level. He could just let the cloud contact vine go himself. However, Luo Feng wanted to personally witness the scene of cloud contact vine building the God Country, as he didn't see it personally when the star eating grass built the God Country last time. Safe. Luo Feng looked down at his arm guard. The large scanning device and mini scanning device were still scanning. There were no other warriors around. So, Luo Feng flew out of the meteorite. This strong calling, it's constantly reminding me that there are treasures waiting for me. Luo Feng looked at the distant Yanji continent. However, the foreign warriors with treasures are probably very strong too. I have to kill them to get the treasures. No matter the cost, I have to get the treasures. Move. Luo Feng sat in the universe ship and headed straight for Yanji continent. 2 chapters completed. I've finished making up for this week. Even though there was a rest day, I'm still updating. Wu begging for monthly votes, recommendation votes. Anything to comfort me. Luo Feng and that foreign warrior is about to clash like Mars colliding with Earth. Please send the votes. Chapter 831. Luo Feng followed the direction of the call. After flying for a total of 4 months, he finally neared his target. 1 billion kilometers. 900 million kilometers. The distance continued to shrink. After a while, it was only 300 million kilometers. I've discovered the enemy's scanning device. He's in a cave deep within the ice mountain range. Babata communicated. The enemy's scanning range is also 300 million kilometers. However, their scanning device is lower end than ours. Lower end than ours? Luo Feng smiled. That felt good. After continuously losing to the scanning device, this feeling of suppressing the enemy felt good. Because the scanning device's level determined, the entire battle was under his control. This is the image of the enemy, Babata said. Luo Feng looked up. A projection screen appeared in mid-air in the control room. On it was the footage of the alien warriors conversing. A total of 3 alien warriors. Your Majesty, it's a pity. Even though we destroyed that alien Undying, we still couldn't do anything to him, letting him escape. An Undying said respectfully, with our strength, we can injure an official pinnacle. However, to kill him is very hard, unless I'm willing to burn a portion of my undying energy. The black-armored youth shook his head. The difficulty of killing an undying body is indeed very high. If we can't kill an official pinnacle, then our accumulation of points will be much slower. The scene on the screen made Luo Feng frown. Able to injure an official pinnacle? Luo Feng muttered to himself. It's unlikely that he has a treasure like the Wu Slayer wings. Since he can injure a peak stage marquee, this black-armored youth must be at least a high-level king-ranked expert. This is troublesome. Also, according to the precise coordinates of the treasure is with that black-armored youth. 200 million kilometers distance. Luo Feng's sense of the treasure was extremely accurate. He could confirm now. The treasure's coordinates matched with the black-armored youth's coordinates. Obviously, it was on him. What do I do? To deal with an Emperor-level warrior and kill him. The difficulty is simply too high. Luo Feng frowned. Even if I use all my strength, I only have a 10% chance of killing him. To deal with his target, Luo Feng had long prepared many plans. However, no matter how many plans there were, it still depended on one's strength. The enemy was strong. No matter how detailed the plans were, it was useless. This black-armored youth was probably an emperor level, hence it would be troublesome to deal with him. More than 200 million kilometers away, in a cave in a completely frozen mountain, the black-armored youth was chatting with his 2 servants. All of you, reflect on your cultivation. The black-armored youth instructed a mortal servant. Only when your strength increases can you kill Marquis, peak Undying. Yes, your highness. On the surface, the 3 of them were talking, but in reality, the 3 of them were secretly communicating with each other through voice transmissions. The enemy's large detector is more advanced than our large detector. Fortunately, although our miniature detector can only detect a range of 20 kilometers, the enemy's detection has already been detected by the miniature detector. The black-armored youth sent a voice transmission solemnly. I can confirm that the enemy who used such a high-level detection device is very powerful. Your Highness, what should we do? The 2 servants spoke to each other subconsciously. Let's talk openly first. In any case, he didn't discover my mini detection device. Let's deliberately talk about it to trick him. We deliberately hinted to him that I'm a high-level Regis Godfiend. A high-level Regis is almost invincible on the Yinkai continent. Even if you kill a high-level Regis with soul-destroying techniques, those powerful beings would have to think twice before doing so. If a high-level Regis self-destructs, the consequences will be terrifying. Understood, Your Highness. After secretly confirming, on the surface, one of the servants said, Your Highness, it's such a pity. Even though we destroyed that alien Undying, we still couldn't do anything to him. He escaped just like that. With our strength, we can injure an official pinnacle. However, killing him will be very difficult, unless I'm willing to burn a portion of my undying energy. The black-armored youth shook his head. The difficulty of killing an undying body. The black-armored youth spoke too. This trick of theirs, they really tricked Luo Feng. In truth, this black-armored youth's true strength was only at the early Emperor level. The difference between early and high level didn't seem huge. However, in truth, the difference in battle strength was extremely shocking. Many Undyings couldn't break through even after countless years. Whether it was in terms of god body or law comprehension, there was a huge difference. Early Emperor level had to be careful in Yinkai continent too. Late Emperor level, however, they could practically do as they pleased, unless they offended the worst few. The three alien experts conversed telepathically with each other. The enemy hasn't left yet. The scanning device has been locked onto us. The black-armored youth communicated. Even though we have the micro-scanning device to detect the enemy, it only has the ability to detect the enemy. After all, it only has a 20 kilometers range. By the time we actually detect the enemy, he'll only be 20 kilometers away from us. The weakness of the micro-scanning device was this. At most, it could be used as a warning. To rely on a micro-scanning device to detect the enemy's location was a joke. We have no way of confirming the enemy's exact location. We don't even know where to run. We can only run blindly. As long as the direction is slightly off, the enemy will be able to catch up. The chance of us escaping is less than 1 in 1,000. The black-armored youth said. Right now, the only way is to shock and awe the enemy. We'll fight him and find a chance to escape. Understood. The two servants replied. My plan is... The black-armored youth swiftly told the two his battle plan. Luo Feng was constantly closing in on the enemy. The scanning device was constantly monitoring the enemy's movements. The control room's projection screen was broadcasting the enemy's every movement in the distant cave. Luo Feng suddenly frowned. What's he doing? On the screen, the black-armored youth flipped his hand, and a beautiful purple flower appeared, hovering beside him. Immediately, the purple flower began to spread out, following the cave's passageway to the outside world. At the same time, the thorny green leaves and countless petals also burrowed into the rock stratum. Within moments, that purple flower covered an area of 100,000 kilometers. The purple flower enveloped the black-armored youth and the two servants. Alien warrior, the black-armored youth on the screen said coldly. I know you can hear me. In the distant control room, Luo Feng frowned. Damn, the worst situation has occurred. Luo Feng himself had a micro-scanning device. Hence he was afraid of this happening. He had no way of dodging and could only depend on his luck. He hoped that the enemy didn't have a high-level micro-scanning device. However, from the looks of it, the enemy's micro-scanning device was obviously very high level. Even though the range was extremely small, it was still able to detect his scanning device. I don't want to be enemies with a strong warrior like you. The black-armored youth emphasized. You should know that the outcome of an emperor battle is very serious. I've already invited my allies. The moment the battle begins, they'll rush over. When that time comes, who lives and who dies will depend on one's strength. Ha! The image on the screen immediately vanished. Obviously, the black-armored youth had used the micro-scanning device to block the 20 kilometers scanning area. Luo Feng was unable to see anything. Master, you've invited an emperor ally? The two servants said excitedly. I'm tricking him. The black-armored youth snorted coldly. You two don't even know this? That opponent's strength is unpredictable. He could very well be an absolute warrior. You think I don't have accurate information? I don't know how strong the enemy is. Those emperor allies will come and help me fight. Even if they can invite an absolute warrior, the price will be very high. No one in the outer region battlefield was stupid. Emperor battles were all about risking their lives. To be able to become an undying emperor, they all had many tricks up their sleeves. Who would be stupid enough to help others? If they accidentally lost their life saving trump cards, it would be too late for regrets. Just like that automaton warrior inviting the two Emperor Pinnacle warriors. Firstly, both parties were friends. Secondly, the automaton warrior had accurately described Silver Wing Emperor's strength, battle style, etc., allowing the two Emperor Pinnacle warriors to be confident. Thirdly, They had to pay a huge price. 1 billion mixed elements wasn't something anyone could afford. Of course, if they didn't invite the 2 Emperor Pinnacle warriors, they wouldn't have to pay such a ridiculous price. Prepare for battle. Maybe I can't win. However, I'm confident in staying alive. The black-armored youth flipped his hand. A disc-shaped black universe ship appeared within the flower petals. Enter the ship. If we get attacked from afar, with the flower exploding from a few 100,000 kilometers away and the F9 grade ship blocking, we won't be at too much of a disadvantage at the start. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Looking at the disappearing image on the screen, Luo's phone was clear. He didn't know what the opponent's plan was. However, after tricking me once, they want to do it again. Luo's phone said coldly. Emperor, upper level? If it was an Emperor upper level, they probably wouldn't be like this. Inviting an Emperor ally. Those Emperor allies don't know anything about me. They wouldn't dare to help you. Also, even if they could, they have to spend time persuading them. Spending a huge amount of wealth. How could it be so easy? Babada, Luo's phone ordered. Turn off the large scanning device and keep the mini scanning device on. Also, get closer to him within 10 million kilometers, yes. Even though he didn't use the large scanning device, he could still sense the exact location of the treasure. Hence, he could still confirm the opponent's position. The ship continued to get closer. The reason why he turned on the large scanning device earlier was because he wanted to know what kind of opponent he was facing and which race he was from. From the looks of it, it was a distant foreign race called the Nashur race. It was a strong race, not a pinnacle race's subordinate race. In the outer region battlefield, Nashur race warriors were very rare. This meant one thing. It was very hard for the opponent to find allies from the same race to help.